Great shot of George Halas's bust outside of Soldier Field as we get set for the second preseason game. Another beautiful Saturday. A little more muggy and humid than it was a week ago, but 87 degrees and sun shining through here in Chicago. Matt Nagy was certainly pleased with some of the positives and plenty to work on, though. Some rough moments at times during practice this week for the offense, but very confident with extended minutes for some of his starters today. He is in his 4th year. On the other side, in his 5th year, Sean McDermott, very defensive-oriented coach. Leslie Frazier, obviously the former Bears, the defensive coordinator. They were very defense-heavy the first couple of years. Their offense exploded last year.
Yeah, really a powerful offense, and we'll see how they fared today against this Bears defense.
Buffalo did win the toss and deferred, so the Bears will receive, and there is Khalil Herbert. We saw some good things from both in special teams and in the running attack a week ago. Rookie out of Virginia Tech. Tyler Bass will kick away for Buffalo. Excellent season last year for the reigning AFC East champion Buffalo Bills. Won their first division title since the mid-90s. Off we go in week 2. And a touchback will set the Bears up at the 25-yard line. So Andy Dalton will get extended snaps today. Pretty much a quarter plus is the expectation for Dalton. Only a couple of 3-and-outs last week, but obviously not the proper gauge. We'll see what happens today.
Yeah, it's really said he wants to set the tempo for the Bears, getting in and out of the huddle, and setting the standard for moving the football. They really have practiced with a lot more tempo, and that's what you can do with a veteran quarterback like Andy Dalton. They've really prepped themselves to really play a lot faster offensively.
Damian Williams will be the back to start the day. There is Williams. Off the fake. He was the release off the Dalton pass and a deflection up front by Harrison Phillips for Buffalo.
Good pass protection, and they didn't give up a sack last week when you look at the Chicago Bears. Dealing with some issues on their offensive line. We'll talk and discuss that as the game goes along. But good pass protection on the first play. Just trying to hit a swing route. Gets batted down by the defensive end.
2nd down and 10. Williams is the back once again. Another pass play for Andy Dalton underneath to Jimmy Graham, who makes the grab. Immediately wrapped up by Dane Jackson after a gain of about 5. Cole Kmet not dressed today. Jimmy Graham will get some more tight end reps.
Just too big a body on the young nickel corner, Dane Jackson. He's out of Pittsburgh. They're high on him, and they've got a great secondary, but just too big of a body. That's a matchup you're looking for.
Remember, Buffalo is a heavy nickel team. Playing nickel on this set on 3rd down. Pocket collapsing around Dalton, and he'll sling it away. Veteran play to avoid A.J. Epinesa, who had the pressure. And a 3-and-out for the Bears offense to start the day. Buffalo was an improving defense after their bye week last year. They got better as the season went on.
Drafted 2 big pass rushers, Gregory Rousseau out of Miami. He's got the levers. He reminds me a lot of Mario Williams. And then Boogie Basham. He's a young player that they can kick him inside for Carlos Basham. Really had a good Senior Bowl, and they feel high on the young pass rushers that they drafted.
Pat O'Donnell will punt away. Isaiah McKenzie had a punt return touchdown late in the year last year. There is a flag thrown. McKenzie back to the 7. And there's some of the speed of Isaiah McKenzie. A good return. We'll check the marker back near the 25-yard line. $16-yard return, but we'll see what Clete Blakeman, veteran official, Super Bowl 50 referee, has to say for us on this. Mitch Trubisky's about to take the field, by the way. We'll also lay out, let's see the reception for him. Sean McDermott wondering what it is as well.
illegal formation on the offense. 5-yard penalty we added to the end of the return. First down, Buffalo.
So the Bills take over, and it is time for Mitch Trubisky. A fairly warm reception, I would say.
I think so. I think Bears respect him. He worked extremely hard. He played through injuries here. He never pointed the finger at himself. Always really wanted to pump up his teammates. And, for whatever reason, it didn't work out. The Bears didn't place a fifth-year option on him. He does have a winning record. Probably landed in a good spot in Buffalo behind Josh Allen to really grow as a young quarterback offensively.
Start this drive from the 28. And Trubisky throws left, and it's dropped by the Chicago native, Jake Kumerow. Former Packer, now a Bill.
Nice job on the slant route. I spent a little bit of time up at Hallis Hall this week, and the football was being contested all week long. A lot of footballs on the ground. Jalen Johnson steps in front of that one, really breaks hard on the slant route to bust it up.
Trubisky another throw. This time it's Gabriel Davis making the grab. It's a good gain in front of Kendall Vildor for a 14-yard pickup and a first down.
Good accurate throw by Mitch. Throws it to the only spot, high away from the defender. Vildor there to make the tackle on the in-cut.
Trubisky playing with some tempo, as the Bills are wont to do. It's a handoff for Devin Singletary, who had a good year last year. Alec Ogletree has to wrap up the sprinting back at the 48 after a 7-yard gain. Alec Ogletree really shined in some big moments last week.
Really did, especially in the goal line. Really reacted, got the 2-yard tackle for a loss, and thus it left Miami to really settle for a field goal. He is really impressed during camp, and we'll see if he can continue to make plays. We're definitely in the mix to earn that backup spot.
Trubisky another toss, looking for a tight end, and he's got Dawson Knox, who had a productive year with Josh Allen. 10-yard gain and a first down to the Bears' 42-yard line.
They're respecting the Bears pass rush. You see him getting it out quick. We've seen a couple of slant routes. Here it is again with the slant route, man coverage. Shelley, good open field tackler, able to bring him down.
Saw Akeem Hicks in that pass rush trying to get to Trubisky, his former teammate. He's working against Cody Ford. Empty set for Trubisky. Another quick throw, another completion, and a good gain on first down to Gabriel Davis. Picks up 8.
Yeah, the quick game, and that's what Buffalo was known for a season ago. They've got really small, quick receivers, and they get it out of the quarterback's hand. And you referenced their ability to score. That was a franchise record, 501 points for the Buffalo Bills.
Number 1 third down team, number 1 fourth down team. They were aggressive. They were sharp all year. Trubisky, another quick slant, and McKenzie's got it. Knocked down after another good gain. 11 yards on the pickup.
And you see the tempo of Buffalo. They're getting up there right away. They're hitting the Bears with some quick slant routes here. In and out coverage by the Bears, but quickly trying to set up and set the tempo of this game.
We saw Gibson make the tackle. He and Eddie Jackson, the starting safeties for the Bears, are both playing on this opening defensive set. Another fresh set of downs. Trubisky incomplete. Looking for Dawson Knox. He had Vildor charging in the late moments.
And that's what Dawson Knox, he's had issues with the dropsies in terms of his consistency. There was talk that they would trade for the Philadelphia Eagles tight end, Zach Ertz. But they're counting on Knox to come through, get a break for the Bears with the drop pass.
Khalil Mack did start this drive for the Bears defense. He now comes off the field. Fake to Singletary. Trubisky did not have the throwback, and there he is scrambling. It ends up being a loss of a couple of yards where his knee went down. Mario Edwards had some good penetration and pressure.
Nice job by Jeremiah Atuatu, added from the Denver Broncos is there. He's there to make the play as well. And for Mitch, just getting it back to the line of scrimmage. Minimum, just short.
The third down and long. Again, number 1 third down offense last year. They converted half their third downs a year ago. Four-man rush, Trubisky throws, and it is complete. Good job by Isaiah McKenzie to grab it. Good job by Duke Shelley to wrap him up, looking to be shy of the sticks by about a yard. He'll pick up 11, and it's 4th and 1.
Shelley, as I mentioned, good open field tackler, get enough pressure on Trubisky, but he's able to deliver it. Be careful on the tackle. Almost slid up to get the first down, but just shy. And, of course, Buffalo's going for it early.
8 of 10 on 4th down last year, the best percentage in the league. Reggie Gilliams, the fullback. Pitch, Singletary. On the perimeter with the cut and the first down, and he's got the touchdown. Robert Quinn couldn't get him in the open field, and Jackson couldn't get him out of bounds. It's 6-0 Buffalo.
Yeah, it's really fake 14 belly, and it's just a quick pitch. Obviously, you're trying to out-leverage the defensive end, but he played it well. The outside backer, Robert Quinn, played it well. He's trying to force it, tunnel it back into where his defenders are coming in, but to me, that's a missed tackle. You've got to make that play for the Chicago Bears. And he's been dealing, he had an ankle last week. He's still dealing with the back issue, but trying to get Robert Quinn up and going here, but missed tackle in space leads to the score.
Wanted to make sure that it was indeed a touchdown. He had broken the plane. Tyler Bass, 57 of 59 on PATs last year. He had 59 attempts at a point after. That's how many times Buffalo was able to strike a year ago. And they strike first today, 5 minutes in. Devin Singletary on the outside, making Quinn miss, shedding a tackle, racing past Jackson. And a nice drive for Mitch Trubisky. A good drive for Buffalo to start the day. 7-0 Bills. Beautiful day on the lakefront, and the fans are back in attendance. And loud throat on that opening couple of drives. Bears go 3 and out. Buffalo drives down the field, 10 plays, 72 yards in 4 minutes to take the lead. And Khalil Herbert is back to return. He'll have an opportunity from the 2. One of the top kick returners in the ACC last year. He'll make his way out to about the 18. That's where Andy Dalton will start his second series. 11 years in the league. 1 year, $10 million deal. Twice in his career has thrown for 4,000 yards, something no Bears quarterback has ever done. Threw for 4,293 in 2013, 4,200 in 2016, over 8,000 snaps. This guy's been around. And he will have majority of this first quarter and a little bit into the second. That's the initial plan. Here is Williams on his first carry. Muscle ahead for maybe about a yard. Give me a sense of what you saw from Andy Dalton, what you expect from Andy Dalton in this uniform.
As I mentioned, I spent some time at Hallis Hall this week. Very good decision maker and very accurate with the football. And I thought a red zone period on Wednesday, he absolutely shredded it. So he's really, as I mentioned, earned the respect of his teammates and coaches. This is how quickly he's able to pick things up. But I think these receivers are on point. That ball is coming out so quick that they've got to get to their spot quickly and get their head around. Very savvy player.
Right back to the ground game. Not much room there. Buffalo stout up front. Williams back to the line of scrimmage, and it's 3rd down and about 8.
And I think for Andy Dalton, you get a lot of criticism. Fine, he takes Cincinnati to 5 postseason play, but it's not all on him. It's not like they got blown out in all those games. We know the game against Pittsburgh, there were emotions and all that.
Game, yeah.
And really, A.J. McCarron was a part of that game anyway. Yeah. And then, of course, I thought the game against the Chargers, it was unfortunate because he had a fumble late in the game that really cost the Bengals. But, of course, you're going to get a lot of the blame as a quarterback when you don't get the W in the postseason.
It does seem like Dalton is very cognizant of that, though, as well as the professional that everybody has raved about. He'll throw right side, and he's got a man. Good effort by Jesse James, who had the touchdown grab from Fields last week. He'll pick up 8 yards there, and it's 4th down and short. Saran Neal, backup cornerback, makes the stop.
Jesse James, very experienced player. Dalton gets it to him in the flat. Not able to make him miss, and that's another thing about Buffalo. This is one of the better secondaries in the National Football League.
very good tacklers in space. Their starting secondary, I think, for Buffalo, Poyer, Micah Hyde. They have two excellent corners. Tre'Davious White's an all-pro. I think this is going to be another very good year for Buffalo's defense. Takeaways are kind of a little bit of a product of luck, but I think just in general, coverage-wise, they're one of the best in the league.
If their younger pass rushers can develop, it is really going to make that secondary lights out.
McKenzie muffs it. Loose ball. Attempt at it near the 37. Both McKenzie and a special teamer for the Bears dove on top of the ball. It will be Buffalo football. McKenzie able to rescue it at the very last moment. This got tight. It'll be Buffalo football halfway through the first. Joel Iyiegbuniwe diving in. Nearly took it away from McKenzie, who kept it. There's a look at the first-year defensive coordinator for the Bears, Sean Desai, who's been with the club since 2013 in various roles. I guess we may have to call him Dr. Desai at one point, considering his background. I'll give you a little more on Sean as we get going here for this second Buffalo series. Buffalo starts this drive from its own 36 after a 72-yard touchdown drive on the opening series. A lot of the Bears starters are back out there once again on defense. And here comes a pass rush for Chicago. Dumped underneath for McKenzie, who maneuvers for about 8 yards to the 44. Eddie Jackson on the stop as we get a look ahead at the road to the 2021 season. Brought to us by Hyundai. Sean Desai has been the safeties coach the last 2 years. Now the defensive coordinator. His resume, obviously making a little bit of personal history. Earned his doctorate degree from Temple University in educational administration. Another grab by McKenzie, and he picks up 8 more yards. Very sharp guy. He played high school football with my buddy Dan Orlovsky, who works as an analyst now. I texted Dan, what do you remember about Sean? Brilliant guy, super smart, got hurt during his high school career, so didn't play as much. Very encouraging. Everybody gravitates to him. That seems to be important. We seem to see that for the Bears defenders.
Yeah, I think you see it very detailed. The players have been very accepting of how he coaches this football team, about the turnovers and all that, but I think he's creative. Khalil Mack called him a evil genius, I believe was how he characterized Sean Desai. So he's going to move players around and put them in positions to make plays. I do think he'll be more aggressive than Chuck Pagano defensively.
Another good pickup by McKenzie as he picks up 15 before Christian Jones made the tackle.
We've seen one pass 15 yards downfield on the in-cut. Everything is 5 yards and in front of that. So very quickly they get the ball out of the hand with the quick passing attack.
Fresh set of downs for Trubisky, who throws out to Singletary, and unable to grab him was Kendall Vildor. Ends up being another Christian Jones stop after 5 yards. So the Bears open field tackling, a couple have been misses.
And it really talks to the quickness of the Buffalo Bills. I think it stunned the Bears a little bit just with the quickness. We saw the one with Robert Quinn earlier. Now Vildor right here. You got to make those plays for no gain. They're there to make.
Singletary, Zach Moss, Matt Breida all expected to get carries today. Top 3 backs for Buffalo. Trubisky outside looking for Kumaro, and that was a dangerous pass. Jalen Johnson.
That's savvy, though, by Jalen Johnson. He almost baited Mitch Trubisky into a back shoulder throw. He was going to throw it to his front side because it's a slant. You want to throw that to the front shoulder. But Johnson broke on it to the front like he was going to cross his face, and he throws it to the outside, almost baited him into an interception right there.
Jalen's going to have one, you get the sense. He did not have a pick last year, but top 7 in the league in passes defensed. 3rd and 5. Blitz coming. Trubisky rolling, Mack chasing. Trubisky rifles it past the sticks for a first down to Davis at the 20-yard line of the Bears.
Bears have seen that many times where he bails out the back bucket out of the backside by Mitch Trubisky, just biding some time. Khalil Mack is in strong pursuit right there, but able to hit the curl route.
Marquis Christian, who is battling for a nickel spot on the tackle.
Got good pressure by Christian up front. The inside backer was able to get in there and force Mitch to bail out of the pocket.
Zach Moss, as you mentioned, does check into the game. He's making his preseason debut after he missed Buffalo's game last week, a 1-point win over Detroit with a hamstring injury. Look at the fake. Trubisky under pressure and throws it incomplete for McKenzie. Good job by James Vaughters, who had some good moments last week providing the pressure.
Showed up last year, got in 14 games for the Chicago Bears. Did have a sack and a half and 22 tackles in play that he got in there. Also 2 tackles for a loss. Very speedy player. A little bit undersized from that standpoint, but nice pressure there to force Mitch to throw it away.
Remember, his first career sack came against Tom Brady in the Bucs last year. Played about a quarter of the defensive snaps a year ago, Vaughters did. 8th play of this Buffalo drive after a 10-play series to start their day. Trubisky back foot looking for Davis. Vildor in coverage, and that ball trails out of bounds. 3rd down and 10 coming up. Bears got to Trubisky quick that time.
Nice job by Khyiris Tonga, the young draft pick by the Chicago Bears out of BYU. For a bigger guy, he surprisingly generates more pass rush than you think. Good push on in the interior of the pocket.
He's 25 years old, remember, as a rookie. Many of the players at BYU serve a 2-year Mormon mission, so before he started college, he was on the road by himself for a couple of years. 3rd and 10. Four-man rush. Flag is thrown. Trubisky to the outside for the speedster McKenzie. Alec Ogletree was, Marquis Christian was trying to stick with him. We will check the penalty marker on the far side at the line of scrimmage. The gain was 12.
Offside. Defense, number 50. Penalties declined. Yardage gained is the 1st down.
That is Jeremiah Tauchu, the 8-year veteran. Signed a 2-year deal with the Bears, as Jimmy mentioned, a productive year in Denver last year with 5 sacks. Sean a little bit frustrated, as you can imagine. Last week against the Dolphins, 3 red zone defensive possessions, 2 field goals, and the red zone takeaway. Remember, the Bears didn't have one of those last year. McKenzie on the sweep. Good job by Eddie Jackson to run him down from the backside. 2nd and goal.
So much misdirection by the Bills, this big staple, because again, you know, with Diggs and the players that they have, they've got some nice speed to the outside, but nice job for Eddie Jackson. He wasn't baited by the fake at all. He was there to make the play. Got good blocking up front, but able to stop short of the goal line.
Dealt with a hamstring issue going into the preseason. Came back last week. Did not play in the first preseason game. 2nd and goal for this versatile, flexible Buffalo offense that has a lot of pieces to it. Fake to Davis out of the backfield. Trubisky on the run, finding Kumaro. That's a touchdown. In front of Jalen Johnson, the South Elgin High School grad makes the catch for the score.
Very tight formation, and this is what Buffalo does. They really expand you. It looks like it's a tight formation, then everybody just splits out and everybody's running outside of the hash marks, and Mitch Trubisky finds his receiver right across the middle of the end zone.
Buffalo will go through a 2-point set here with a good chunk of their first teamers on the line and in the receiving court out there.
Well, the Bears have been trying to do a lot of press, but again, the quickness of the receivers, just enough, getting enough step on the Bears, they were able to get a step of separation.
You got the Blue Angels flying overhead, so a little extra noise for Trubisky. The blitz from Marquis Christian is coming too. Bills using a timeout.
Buffalo takes its first timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Yeah, that noise was in addition to the crowd getting loud.
I was driving down from the city yesterday from Halisaw. I seriously, when you heard the noise driving down.
Nothing like getting jarred awake out of bed at 8 in the morning when they start their runs.
And as you mentioned, the Angels, they put on a show yesterday for all of Chicago.
You know, we were talking about Mitch Trubisky Tariq Cohen had spoken this week and said, guys, you know, talking to fans, like, don't boo this man.
Yeah.
And I think the reception has been fairly warm. He's performed well. I'm sure that some Bears fans even thought, hey, it'd be nice to see Mitch do well. And I think that's a positive. I think it's a good spot for him in Buffalo. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I think for him to just really sit in the background, learn from a good offensive coordinator, and obviously a quarterback who's having a lot of success in the NFL, and really just rebuilding his career is what it's about.
Nothing downfield, using his feet. Bears fans got used to this. Good play to get it to Singletary, but he could not hold on. Good effort by Trubisky there. A little noise from the Blue Angels today. That was a little frightening, legitimately. I woke up and I thought something bad was happening, and thankfully it was just the show. Trubisky with a fun drive, another touchdown for Buffalo. But there is a penalty and an announcement from Clete Blakeman. We won't go to break just yet. Sorry to our friends at the NFL Network who are all excited to pay their bills, but we got more to show you here.
Well, it's a good job by Mitch. That's what he can do. He can extend plays. There's no doubt about his athleticism. And like most young quarterbacks, I think it hurts when you go to a different type of offense, and he's had to learn a new one. He was 2-1 in terms of touchdowns. He had a winning record, but the inconsistency of the play, and we'll see if he's able to resurrect his career.
A defensive holding penalty gives the Bills another opportunity, gives Eddie Jackson another chance for an open field tackle. He and Christian Jones right there for the stop. That closes out the 2-point conversion and the drive. 13-0 Bills on top. 3 to play first quarter. Another gorgeous day along the water in Chicago. Aaron Waters showed this weekend, giving us plenty of color, both sound and visual, here at Soldier Field today. Bills with 2 really sharp offensive series. Khalil Herbert back to return. Tyler Bass will kick away. Directional kick towards the sideline. Herbert will grab it at the 7. And works his way across the 25 and near the 30-yard line. Good return of 24 for number 24. Kumaro on the stop. Andy Dalton goes back to work. 2 for 4 so far today. But I'd like to see a little bit of traction here for the Bears offense. First down with this group.
Yeah, it's a good measuring stick that we mentioned about Buffalo in their defense. But the Bears, they got to start jump-starting this offense. This is how they started a week ago. 2 3-and-outs. Start to pick up the pace a little bit more. And they could play well into the second quarter. They need to see more offensively and get this group with a lot of continuity as they move forward.
Jimmy Graham is the tight end. And it's Jesse James, the other side's tight end, to get the first down. Right on cue, they pick up a dozen.
Nice play action pass to Jesse James. Good starting point at the 30-yard line, so they get a good starting point there. Jesse James on the throwback last week for a touchdown. And for him just to run the quick shallow cross, nice quick hitter on a first down play action pass.
The same offensive line that was in there on the last series is in there to try to protect Andy Dalton. Screen pass with a flag thrown. It's Damiere Byrd, who is a speedster on the outside. We'll have to check the marker after that 7-yard gain. Byrd, coming over from the New England Patriots, can provide punch as a slot man or in special teams.
You get the positive play on first down, and we'll see what the penalty does here. But Byrd had the opportunity to pop that bubble pass right there.
Offside. Defense. Lined up in the neutral zone. Number 61. 5-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
Justin Zimmer with the penalties, so they'll negate the 7, but they'll take a 1st and 5 instead. And the extra play.
Well, yeah, Damiere Byrd, as we mentioned on his pro day, he busted a legit 4.25. He is cat quick, like good quick hitting plays, much like Buffalo did with their quick pass stack. Bears starting to use it here on their third drive of the game.
Career high numbers, 47 catches last year for Byrd. There's Williams slipping through the hole, got grabbed by Justin Zimmer, but a couple of flags are thrown.
Holding. Offense. Number 18. 10-yard penalty in the spot of foul. replay first down.
It'll be first down again. Spot foul on Jesse James. Damian Williams back this year after opting out of last season. His mother was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer last year. He wanted to take time to be with her and take care of her, but he came back, and you just got this sense from Damian. He's like, I want to do this till the wheels fall off. He was so happy to be back playing, and maybe refreshed him a little bit after a really good year with Kansas City.
Absolutely, and for him, he's very equipped to come out of the backfield as a receiver, too. 138 receptions.
Oh, nice play by Ridley. Dalton got hit on the way down by Daryl Johnson and was still able to deliver on target. Ridley did a nice job of securing it for 12 to set up a 2nd and short.
And this is what Andy Dalton will do for you. He feels the pressure in the pocket, so he's forcing Ridley to set down. That ball was already out of his hand before he sat down on the stop route to really react to the football. But nice anticipation by Andy Dalton to get rid of the football. And he's hit when he throws it. He knew he was going to get hit, so he got rid of it very early in order to make that play.
Good adjustment by Ridley on the outside. One of the players to watch today in that position battle at wide receiver. Back to Williams. And looks like he had enough for the first down, but the ball came out. And Damar Hamlin jumping on top of it, the rookie out of Pitt. And indeed, it's a turnover. Buffalo takes it away, and they'll have good field position. Bears got some traction offensively finally, but that ball comes out loose. Tyler Matakavic's helmet jarred it out. Bills have the first quarter lead in Chicago. Of course, our guys Jeff Joniak, Tom Thayer, and our buddy Luke Canellis will all be with you all season long for Bears Game Day Live, brought to you by Advocate Healthcare, and Bears Game Night Live Sundays at 10:30 a.m. and 10:35 p.m. during the regular season on Fox 32 in Chicago. Lou will have plenty for us today at halftime as well. Speaking of Bears quarterbacks, Mitch Trubisky back in there. Josh Allen did dress but was not planning on playing any snaps today. He'll get all the communication from the coaching staff, and he's been coaching up Trubisky on the sidelines as well. And Mitch lost it for a completion to Jacob Hollister, upended by Kindle Vildor, but it's a 20-yard pickup for the Buffalo tight end.
Just sneaks right across on the shallow cross. It looked like a blown coverage by the Chicago Bears and just wide open in space. Vildor able to make the stop.
So far, the script has looked sharp for Buffalo.
Again, the longest throw is really that in cut earlier in the game.
It's been a lot of catch and run. And boy, when they're at full strength, Buffalo, there's a lot of guys that can catch and run for big yardage. Stephon Diggs in particular. That'll take us to the end of the opening quarter. Good showing from Mitch Trubisky back at his old stomping grounds. And the Bills with the 13-0 lead through one. Plenty to go here in this second preseason game. More Andy Dalton snaps. We'll see more of Justin Fields as well as the day goes on. 13-0 Buffalo to the second. Start of the second quarter in Chicago. Adam Amin, Jim Miller, 13-0 Bills. Your thoughts on what we saw first quarter so far?
Missed tackles, obviously, defensively. If you're going to play press man coverage, you got to get up there and get in the receiver's grill, either reroute them or get your hands on them. And for the Bears to get something going offensively, they had a good drive going there, but unfortunately the turnover.
Yep.
So you need to play clean football offensively.
Two good offensive drives for Buffalo in the first quarter. Mitch Trubisky has manned both of them, taking a deep shot with a flag thrown. Gabriel Davis was matched up with Kindle Vildor. We'll check the marker. Something you saw a lot of if you watched the Bills last year with their outside threats. Diggs in particular. They've got Diggs. They signed Emmanuel Sanders to a one-year deal. Obviously, Cole Beasley's a very productive slot man. Davis is great.
Holding, defense. Automatic first down.
I'm not sure what number he said, but the Blue Angels were very upset about that penalty against the Bears, as Sean Desai is, I would imagine. But a holding penalty, a second against the Bears defense.
Well, and it's by design by Buffalo because they got the quick receivers, right? They're going to wear you out from that standpoint. Then they'll use the size matchups with Gabriel Davis. And you've got a big guy who can run as well. So you try to muscle him up and get your hands on him, and he's blowing right past you because he's so strong and physical.
Zach Moss motions out wide. McKenzie underneath and taken down inside the Bears' 25-yard line by Christian Jones. Gain of 7. Christian Jones, solid last week, fighting for one of those inside backup spots in the linebacking core. Back with the Bears for a 1-year deal. Remember, he was an undrafted free agent with the Bears before going to Detroit in 2018. Here's Moss, banging his way forward. He's got his Utah teammate, Jalen Johnson, out there. He's a very good back at Utah, part of a triumvirate of guys who can carry the football for Utah. I'll be fascinated to see how the Bills' running attack is implemented this year with a little bit of expansion. Yeah, you would think Moss is going to get more opportunities for Buffalo this year. That's probably one area they wanted to be better at is running the football. And with their offensive line solidified, they get all 5 guys back. You would think it's going to come to fruition. This is, again, a very strong football team throughout on both sides of the ball of how this roster is built by general manager Brandon Beane. Did a great job last year constructing this. A lot of moves last year. They made few moves this year. Looking for Kumaro, deflected towards the ground. Artie Burns made a play on it. Khyiris Tonga was diving for the loose football as well. The big man hit the deck. It's 4th down and short. Incomplete.
Good contested pass there by Artie Burns. Getting an opportunity, obviously, last year with the torn ACL, but very highly drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Was he going to play safety? Was he going to play corner? And finally, the Bears have signed him to play corner. Nice pass break up there against a big receiver. Kumaro comes over from the Green Bay Packers, now a Buffalo Bill.
Kumaro is lined up wide against Burns again. Buffalo's already converted a 4th and short, and Zach Moss able to do it again. Got chopped at the legs, but able to drive forward despite Trevis Gibson knocking him.
Well, you can see why they run over the right side of the line. That's big Cody Ford at the right guard spot. So he gets the push just enough, and why they're running over the right guard. He's a physical specimen when you look at Ford, legit over 330 pounds.
It's a good offensive line for the Bills, as you mentioned. Deion Dawkins is back after he had a pretty scary bout with COVID earlier in the summer. He was in the hospital for 4 days. He came back to practice this week, so that's a good sign. From the 18. Another handoff for Zach Moss. Slip in the hole. Joel Iyiegbuniwe with the original contact before Eddie Jackson finished him off after a 6-yard run.
And again, here the Bills on the march again, and this is what the Bears are trying to stop here from last season. The defense had to log way too many plays. Here it's a hot day. You've got over 90 heat index, and they've been on the field quite a bit this first half through the first quarter to where they are at the 12-minute mark here in the second. See if they can make a stop here in the red zone.
Toss for Moss. Good blocking. And Moss hustling his way towards the pylon. It'll be marked just shy. Reggie Gilliam, it's a really solid tight end fullback. He made a good block on the perimeter.
Yeah, you can see the running back just patient with setting up the blocks. You get the edge block right there. He's able to scoot through the hole. And again, wrap tackles. Got to make better tackles from that standpoint. Go for the legs of the running back. Wrap them up and get them to the ground. Don't tackle high, because that's what will happen. They're just going to shed you.
Lost his knee down when the ball was right near the goal line. It'll be 1st and goal for Buffalo. Up to the front, big Khyiris Tonga, former BYU Cougar in the middle there. Challenge thrown. Perhaps Sean McDermott thinking there should be a touchdown?
We'll see. I would think so, that he thinks he got in. He thinks he crossed the plane. Why else would you challenge it?
Buffalo is challenging the ruling on the field that the runner did not score a touchdown.
Every time Clete Blakeman has an announcement, that's when you hear the planes overhead. So they'll check to see if he crossed the plane before the knee went down. The knee's down. It looked like the ball was shy from that angle. This might be your best look. You can play referee and replay official at home. We'll come back on the other side with the answer. Loop in River North into the South Loop at Soldier Field. The call stood. It is going to be first and goal, and it'll be an inside handoff to the fullback, Reggie Gilliam, and the Bills have their third touchdown of the day.
Bears had it stuffed. It's just good second effort by Gilliam. But Khyiris Tonga, that's twice now in goal line situations from last week and this week, he's made his presence known. He's pushing the center back. That's all you can ask for right there. Then the reaction to the outside.
Yeah, you see Tonga really stacked up that hole, and Gilliam with a nice play to get to the outside. So Bills will go for two again. Trubisky into a tight window, and it's a conversion for Jacob Hollister, and it's 21-0 Buffalo. Another good drive run by former Bear Mitch Trubisky.
Tight end just goes right up the seam, finds hole, and he throws it on time right there. Christian Jones just late to react on that inside move by the tight end.
8 plays, 53 yards, 4+ minutes for Trubisky. We were talking a little bit during the break about Mitchell, and he seems like he's in a very good headspace as well. We talked to some of the guys around the Bills this week, and everybody seems to like him. He gets along with everybody. It's a good opportunity to learn a little bit from a more established quarterback who just came up to him, and Josh Allen there. Got married this past summer to his longtime partner, Hillary. It just seems like he's in a good place. So good for him.
For him, when we were at, I did Buffalo Bills training camp on the camp tour, he seems in a good place. And I don't think he meant anything bad or untoward towards the Chicago Bears. He just thinks for him, this is a good spot for him moving forward. He'll be able to just marinate a little bit, learn some different style offense that he thinks suits his game. Allen's a very athletic quarterback. Mitch is a very athletic quarterback. So it's a good fit there for Mitch Trubisky in Buffalo.
I would guess Sean McDermott and Brian Daboll, obviously the offensive coordinator, will not have to change a lot if Trubisky were to have to play for Allen.
No, I really don't think they'll have to change at all.
Oh, Herbert is able to recover it and still get it out to the 15-yard line. Bears will stick with some of their first teamers. Andy Dalton will continue to work into the second quarter. This is what you've seen so far.
Yeah, gets the ball out of his hand right there to his tight end, Jimmy Graham. Good play action pass on the shallow cross. His other tight end, Jesse James. This is a nice play right here. Texas break it down. That's where he's very good at anticipating throws, getting it out there, and his receiver sits down. Ridley makes a nice catch going down to get it.
Turnover by Williams on the last series. He is back in there. He'll get the fake. Dalton trying to maneuver around the defender and Gregory Rousseau, and had to get rid of it. That's one of those newcomers for Buffalo that you were talking about. Rousseau was a stud, opted out of the 2020 college football season, but was Defensive Rookie of the Year in the ACC 2 years ago.
I shook his hands at Bills camp, and when you just see him when he came up to the set, his levers are unbelievable. His arm length, and my partner Pat Kerwin, he mentions that, man, he reminds me of Mario Williams, and he does. This guy has all the levers. Even though he opted out last year, he is going to be a really good football player, and he's probably going to be a dominator when it's all said and done.
He's lined up against Jesper Horsted, and now against the right tackle, Lachavius Simmons.
And there he is with the sack.
There he is on cue. Number 30 pick out of Miami. There is a penalty marker on the play.
It's hard to lock him out because his arms are so long.
Levers, that's what you talked
Illegal
about.
Formation, offense. Number 13 was covering up the interior lineman. The penalty's declined, brings up third down.
They'll take the sack. Now, that's the first sack allowed by the Bears in a game and a half in the preseason so far. Obviously, offensive line is an issue. Elijah Wilkinson is playing today. Lachavius Simmons is playing today. They're hoping to get Larry Borum some reps as well. Obviously, the tough news was Tevin Jenkins having to have back surgery.
Yeah, it sounds like, hey, you can't worry about him. When he's healthy, he'll be back.
Yep.
Right now, they've got to manage it right now. We'll get into the signing of Jason Peters, who may be the right guy to manage that spot until it settles down.
Damian Williams will pick up a couple yards. Crowd starting to get a little restless now with the Bears offense. some frustrations on the sideline for Chicago's possessions.
But that's what happens. Things start to snowball.
Yeah.
Here you got the punt return. There's a muff on the punt return. You're backed up. Thus, you're limited from that standpoint, dealing with some offensive line issues. And then you have penalties and things of that nature and sacks. And now you're shooting yourself in the foot. Things are starting to snowball right now. Bears need to turn it around, get themselves collected together on the sideline.
Again, that was the case last week, too. Slow start offensively, got much better as the game went on. Good punt by O'Donnell, helping to flip the field a little bit. Back to the 31, McKenzie. Still running right. And he's got space. Did it against the Dolphins in Week 17 last year. Isaiah McKenzie with an excellent return for Buffalo. 54-yard punt. Great kick by O'Donnell, but 36 on the return.
Ton of speeds, missed tackles again by the Chicago Bears. It's a good angle punt. You got him right where you want. You got him backed up to the sideline. Now you got to make a play right there. Missed tackle by the Chicago Bears. Gets the edge block. Now he's in open field.
Caleb Johnson, who did some really good things later in the game last week, was unable to get McKenzie down. I imagine a lot of players have said that in special teams the last couple of years.
Bears have been just off in terms of their play today. So need to finish, and that starts with every single man doing their job.
There's Matt Breida, the former Dolphin, signing with Buffalo. Takes his way to 30. Khyiris Tonga on the stop. We are pleased to be joined by one of the Bears receivers on the sideline. That's Darnell Mooney in his second year out of Tulane. The last time I got to call one of this guy's games, he was in the middle of a comeback against the Houston Cougars on a Thursday night. I remember that game well. He had a really productive first year last year. Darnell, what did you take away from rookie season?
I just took in the experience, man. The experience was the best thing, and I was able to learn a lot and take it into this year.
Well, I talked to your general manager, Ryan Pace. He loves the jump you've made in your second season. What specifically for you where you think areas you've grown as you had a terrific rookie year for the Bears?
Confidence. Confidence is the biggest thing. Without confidence, you can't be able to do anything. You can't catch the ball, you can't run good routes, and my biggest thing is confidence.
Now, Matt Nagy's made some comparisons. I'm just throwing them out there for context sake. He's talked about Tyreek Hill. He's talked about Deshaun Jackson with you. What do those comparisons mean, and what would you like to take away from that?
I'm honored. Those are great players. And I watch them as well right now. You know, just their route running and their speed, using their speed as an asset. So I'm trying to take that as my advantage this year. Well,
everybody has talked about the anticipation of Andy Dalton and how he gets rid of the football. And for you, how you settling in, getting to know your new quarterback in Andy?
He's an amazing guy, amazing person on the field and off the field. We were able to get consistent on our timing, and that was the biggest thing, you know, learning a new guy. So,
Darnell Mooney, second year out of Tulane. Really appreciate the time and best of luck going forward, bud.
Thank you.
That was Darnell Mooney. It's brought to us by Advocate Healthcare as we got down on the field. 19-yarder, though, for Matt Breida as the Bills were able to get points out of it. At least the initial call says as such. He did step out of bounds. It depends on where the ball was when he stepped out. And indeed, as all scoring plays are, that will be under review. We'll take a look at that. Trubisky made that great play, escaping Trevis Gibson and keeping the drive alive. We'll see if it's points for the Bills or not on the other side. Clete Blakeman let us know that indeed, after review, that Matt Breida was short, stepped out of bounds here, and the ball was shy of the line to gain, the goal line. So it will be a first and goal situation for the Bills. Once again, had this already. 21-0, approaching the halfway point of the second. Another inside handoff. It's Reggie Gilliam again, and he is ruled in by the far sideline judge.
Same play he ran in the first time. They just dressed it up with window dressing. System 14 belly going to eye right tight, goal line eye right tight. Tonga in there again, good push, but not enough. Starting to stay away. Bears defense starting to get a little worn down. See, look at the push again.
Yeah.
Tonga's pushing guys back. But Gilliam, just a 14 belly, gets over his right guard. Cody Ford again. That's twice where they go to the big fella and run over his side.
Not only is their front line really good, but some of the backups, their swing guys, they're very excited about Spencer Brown, a rookie out of Northern Iowa, who's a good swing tackle. And Buffalo is going to be well stocked up front in front of Josh Allen this year. 28-0. All Buffalo here in this first half. Still just the preseason, about a game and a half left before the Bears will open up in Los Angeles against the Rams, and then their home opener will be against the Cincinnati Bengals, Andy Dalton's former team, and select single game Bears tickets are available now. You can cheer on the Monsters of the Midway at Soldier Field this year. Visit chicagobears.com/tickets. So obviously we're going to see some different things. We're going to see different personnel come in, but what would you just like to see schematically or in terms of process going forward the rest of the way today?
Well, minimum, I would think they're going to put in Dalton for probably one more series. They said anywhere from a quarter to a quarter and a half, but typical like anything, it's one play at a time. I think what they have to be frustrated about is one player who's doing something wrong where they're not finishing, and that's on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen fumbles, the ball's on the ground, we've seen punts, missed tackles, not finishing the plays or finishing the blocks on offense. So I would think, for Dalton, hey, come on, guys, let's go out here, let's get this one last drive right here, and let's do something. Everybody get locked and loaded on this particular drive and do some good things.
What a kick by Bass. Snuck it inside the pylon for the touchback. So as you thought, Andy Dalton will continue to be out there. Again, the Bears fans are a little restless, but this is Andy Dalton's football team, and we had a long conversation with Bill Lazor, and we talked with Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace. Obviously, a preseason stint is not going to be an accurate barometer of what to expect. Based on what we've been told, what I've seen watching and calling Andy Dalton's games over the last 8-9 years, the same thing with you. You've seen this guy live. There is a lot to like about the position that the Bears are in, with Fields, with Foles, and then this guy at the top of the rotation.
Yeah, this is not an indicator of the type of camp that Andy Dalton has had. If you go up there and watch every practice, how does the blitz period go, or other, the team periods, inside run periods, and how he's his command of the offense. I think what you're unhappy about is, as a player, I can just speak for the situation they're in right now. A first down feels like a touchdown.
Sure.
It's like, come on, guys, get locked and loaded. And you as a quarterback, to me, this is where you got to step up. Come on, man, let's go. However tidbits information you got to get guys jacked up to push their go buttons. That's what you need to do. Like this throw right here.
It's Adams again. The connection and the touchdown, 73 yards.
And that's all it is one play. And that's twice. What an acrobatic catch by Adams, as you mentioned, up the sideline. He's got the speed, gets to the outside, has a step. Twice, he's grabbed it off the helmet of the opponent and able to pull away for the touchdown. But that's all it is for a momentum changer. It's one play. Come on, guys. Let's go. And that's the play the Bears needed.
Siran Neal in coverage, and Rodney Adams, who has yet to appear in an NFL game. Guys like this are playing for their careers to have the opportunity to play in the regular season. He has shown up very nicely the first two games of this preseason. A nice play, 73-yard strike for Adams, who's made some acrobatic catches already. That will be no good. Blocked. Hand up there on the Cairo Santos attempt, so it remains 28-6. But Dalton looking for a little momentum, looking for a spark. If that's the last play of his day, pretty good one to close. 73-yard strike. Bears get on the board. It's part of our forward scoring drive summary. Two plays. The last, a 73-yard strike from Andy Dalton to Rodney Adams. Adams, who started his college career at Toledo before going to South Florida. I saw a ton of this young man. Very impressive. Got thrust into a very tough spot when he was a young kid. Had to take care of his younger brother. He matured very fast. Florida native, I should say. Went back to USF to be closer to home and battling to be in the NFL. He has made a nice impact these first two games, Jimmy.
Yeah, it really is. Nice matchup, but really working the matchups. You got the go routes on the outside. He's running the over route from that standpoint. And that's all Andy's doing. He sees the safety come down, so he knows he's going to the best matchup. Boom, safety comes down. Thinks he's got a foot race, and he does. Gets the ball out there. Great catch by Adams. Then he turns on the Jets. Speed, I'll tell you what, Adams is making a name for himself. It's not just through the 2 preseason games. Again, he did it all week up at Halisaw from what I saw. So he's really stacking these days back to back to back.
Practice squad last year for the Bears and trying to make the roster. Quick out. Duke Williams on the catch and knocked down by DeAndre Houston Carson, who had an interception last week. Mitch Trubisky continues to work for the Bills. He's gotten to work with a lot of the first-team guys. Has gone up against a lot of the first-teamers for the Bears. Now you're seeing a lot of the second unit, pretty much entirely the second unit for the Bears defense in the game against Sean McDermott's offense.
They've had good pressure on him, but Mitch has been able to bail out of the pocket on a couple ones. Obviously, the last drive was a big one where he's able to elude Trevis Gibson.
Matt Breida on the carry. Pounds his way forward, and it'll bring up 3rd down and short. Well, assuming that's going to be the last we see of Andy Dalton today. Again, a nice way to close the day. We'll evaluate his day as we go forward on this Saturday afternoon. Likely we'll see Justin Fields on the next Bears offensive series. I would imagine we'd see him for a good chunk of the 3rd, if not the entirety of it.
And hopefully they're hoping they can get more situations like they were a week ago. That was a nice drive right before the half by Justin Fields a week ago.
Yeah. Flag is thrown. Breida able to avoid Duke Shelley in the backfield, but Charles Snowden finishes him off for a loss of a couple. We will have to check the marker, though.
I think that's Ryan Bates with a hold by the Buffalo Bills. We'll see what the call is here. It could be.
Holding offense, number 68. Penalties declined. Brings up 4th down.
Bobby Hart ends up getting tagged for it. Back up right tackle for the Bills behind a very solid choice in Darrell Williams. First time that the Bills have gone 3 and out today offensively. So the punt return unit is out, and here is Daz Newsome, one of the players to watch today in special teams. Newsome had 1 punt return touchdown at Syracuse when he was a member of the North Carolina Tar Heels. It'll be Matt Hawk, who has joined this team from Miami. He replaced Corey Bojorquez, who's now with the Rams. Good pressure that time from the special teams unit. That's a short punt. That was Khalil Herbert, a rookie out of Virginia Tech, getting close to Matt Hawk.
Good hustle there. And again, 1 play at a time.
Yep.
Forcing a forced error there by the Buffalo Bills. And I was excited to, as you mentioned, to talk about Daz Newsome, because you and I talked to Bill Lazor yesterday. He said it's not only his energy at practice, but this guy is a big-time playmaker. He says he's a serious study in how he's been able to step in here. Had the setback with the fractured collarbone early in the OTAs, but we'll see what he can do here.
So Andy Dalton is going to be back out there here. So another extended rep. Well, maybe we'd see Fields, but it'll be Dalton. Blitz, and Bird gets the catch. And the screen pass for a few yards. Knocked down by Cameron Lewis. Let's take a closer look at Daz Newsome, courtesy of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. You see his numbers at North Carolina. I got a chance to cover him. Mac Brown was my old partner. He's now the coach at North Carolina. I asked him about what he thought of Daz Newsome. Electric, explosive, a young man who exudes confidence because he studies. He's a deep study, as you mentioned.
And, well, that's what Bill Lazor talked. He'll keep you entertained, not only with his personality, but with his play. Very energetic player, and it really can do some good things.
Dalton rolling. A designed rollout underneath for Adams. Past the sticks into Buffalo territory. Picks up 9 and moves the chains.
Good movement. And Dalton is capable of doing this, too. Everybody kind of, you know, they don't give him much credit in terms of his athleticism. He's got 22 rushing touchdowns in his career, but he can run RPO stuff. He can run the bootlegs. He can move out of the pocket and dash plays right there that leads to the first down to Adams.
Back to Williams, trying to get a little burst. He'll pick up a couple to the 45-yard line. This is what Matt Nagy wanted. He wanted extended reps for Andy Dalton, so Justin Fields' second appearance will come in the second half today.
Well, I think that's what the coach is going to do when you're not performing offensively, and that typically, when you stay out in there after scoring a touchdown, I think it just shows that the coach is not happy with how they perform.
Sure.
Let's see if they can put 2 series back-to-back here in order to close out this half.
Yeah, I think you said it right. You've seen flashes, now you want to string them together. On 2nd and 8, off the play fake. Damiere Byrd was not available downfield, so they'll dump it off for Jesse James, a yard past the line of scrimmage. Tackle made by Tyrell Adams, and it's 3rd down.
There's just no separation in the secondary. It's nice pass protection by the Bears. They're doing a little chili roll. They bring the tight end across in order to get to block the edge. Dalton still pressured late, but there was enough time to throw the football. There was just nobody open down the field.
Scooter Harrington, the rookie out of Stanford, a good blocking tight end, was in on that pass pro. Plenty of plays for 3rd down and 7 in that playbook. Let's see what the Bears dial up here. Is that Jesse James, maybe?
Yeah, I would think so. False start.
False start. Offense, number 18. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Heard that hard cadence from Andy Dalton. And again, another thing that you've discussed often, just different quarterbacks, different cadences, new guys all coming together this year.
And you got to finish. You got to get locked and loaded at the line of scrimmage. Again, you can't be the one. Don't be the guy, I should say, that sets your team back. Now, what was a 3rd and manageable is a 3rd and long situation.
More movement. Yep. We saw too much of this last week, seeing a little bit too much of it this week.
False start. Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
So here's what the offensive line looks like right now. You've had Simmons in there. That was Bars. Musta first played a lot at center. Whitehair's been in most of the day. No James Daniels today. I imagine we'll see Hambright. We'll see some of the backups come in. Jason Peters more than likely not scheduled to play today, but will likely play in Nashville against Tennessee next year.
Well, Andy, to his credit, tried to use a hard count there to get the 5 yards back. You're in the huddle saying, hey, guys, hold your water, and then you still have a false start.
Chris Lacey, the former Oklahoma State Cowboy, makes the grab. Tyler Matakevich knocks him down after 9 yards. Might leave him out there for this 4th down. The line to gain is the 37. I kind of see Andy, no, let's run one more play. I mean, might as well. You're going through the process. Sure. You might as well run another play. You don't have to run it now. You can wait till after the 2-minute warning if you want to run it as well.
Well, as you mentioned, there's a lot of guys in and out of there where they're getting used to Andy's inflection of his voice. But that was a pro situation right there. You get the false start on Jesse James. Andy was just trying to get the 5 yards back because you know your offense is struggling. You're trying to help them out.
Let's see if the Bears run a 4th down play on the other side of this 2-minute warning. Shot of Navy Pier on this Saturday afternoon. 2-minute warning in the first half, and Advocate Healthcare will take us to halftime as well. Luke Canellis is going to be up with you, and you're going to want to stick around. A great feature on Justin Fields, the rookie quarterback for the Bears, and we'll see likely in the second half. You're going to want to stick around. A great insight into Justin, his family, and his leadership. Bears will go for it on 4th down. They need the Buffalo 37-yard line. 3 timeouts with which to work if they can convert. Williams is the back. Dalton hit as he throws. It's batted into the air, and it drops down incomplete. It's going to be a live ball initially. Never really got a signal for an incompletion, so it's a live ball. It's ruled a fumble and grabbed by the Bills. A.J. Epinesa had the pressure on Andy Dalton. And it's a turnover to the Chicago 44-yard line.
Protection breakdown across the board from that standpoint.
Let's see if it's a fumble or it looked like the ball was going forward.
Yeah, I thought his arm was going forward. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, that'll be spotted back at the spot of the snap. Now, arms coming forward. Good pressure by Epinesa.
Yeah, good player. They feel he's versatile. He can play both inside and outside and kick down and pass rushing downs, and obviously makes his presence known there.
So indeed, not a fumble. It is an incompletion, but it was 4th down, so it's a turnover on downs. Ball will be at the 45 of Buffalo instead. Still Trubisky. He empties it out with Breida wide. 1 timeout for Buffalo, as they'll go into their 2-minute offense. Underneath, Marquis Christian trying to wrestle the ball away from Brandon Powell. Pickup of 7. We've seen Shelley, we've seen Christian. We'll probably see Thomas Graham as well mixed in for that nickel spot. Trubisky's got a man down the seam. It is the tight end, Jacob Hollister, has made some good plays. 26-yard pickup before Deion Bush knocks him down.
Right up the seam. Houston Carson has got to give, well, they may, unless they're running a cover 3, but it looked like it was man-to-man on the outside. So it's a combination coverage where he's got to turn it over to the safety. So there was a busted coverage there by Houston Carson, I believe.
You got to have him or funnel him, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's in and out is what it's got to be with the safety.
Powell races out of bounds after grabbing the Trubisky pass. Christian runs him out after another 7-yard gain. Well, they stop the clock and save their timeout with 61 seconds left. This is where a lot of games are made. Bears fans have gotten used to it with as many close games as the Bears have played the last few years. These 2-minute settings are huge, both defensively and offensively.
Well, it made a great takeaway last week in the red zone. There's nothing stopping anybody from making a play here.
Trubisky. Pocket was collapsing, and he throws it at the feet of Breida.
Good pressure by Vaughters right there. At least it made Mitch nervous, where he started to backpedal and created an inaccurate throw.
And obviously, we've seen that a lot. You have to get guys off their spot. Trubisky, obviously, a very mobile quarterback on the perimeter, but
much tighter coverage, too. It was press man across the board. He had to hold on to it. Normally, good things happen when you force a quarterback to hold on to the football.
Trubisky, timing route, thrown to the outside for Duke Williams, incomplete. And Artie Burns was matched up with Duke, former Auburn Tiger.
Nice play by Artie. Kind of an inaccurate throw. Got to get it outside if you're Mitch, but way to go in there and break it up by Artie Burns. Kind of exposes us. It's where you don't want to be as a receiver with the defender closing in on you.
Artie trying to get back into it. Played his last game in 2019, mid-November, when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Torn ACL in August last year, so missed out. Re-signed with the Bears this year for 1 year. Tyler Bass missed just 6 field goals last year and 34 tries. This is the length of an extra point, and it is good to make it 31-6 Buffalo. A herky-jerky offensive first half. We did see the one big play to Rodney Adams, and we saw flashes of good stuff from Andy Dalton. Obviously, we'll expect to see Fields and Foles in the second half.
Yeah, they're going to get a majority of the work, and we'll see if they can spark the team in the second half. Again, attention to detail. I think that's where they have to be upset at themselves for the Bears. Somewhat sloppy with the false starts and things of that nature, balls on the ground. So more attention to detail, I think, is really going to be the talking point by the coach at halftime.
Well, you talk about needing situations, and sometimes it works out this way. Yeah, all right, you look at the score. It's a preseason game, obviously. 47 seconds, 3 timeouts. This is another good 2-minute opportunity. Fields did a good job last week. Dalton will get a crack at it, seemingly with his helmet on, here on this drive.
Yeah, he's going to finish out this half.
Khalil Herbert, rookie out of Virginia Tech. Squib kick here. It will make its way to Herbert at the 5. Seeking space, good cut, and a solid return out near the 30-yard line. 24-yard return again for number 24. Dalton coming back out, 40 seconds, 3 timeouts. This was the best play of the first half.
Yeah, Adams really did a nice job getting to the outside, leaves 2 yards to the sideline. That's textbook, and then goes up and makes a play over the defensive back. So shows his speed at the end. The one bright spot offensively here in the first half for the Bears, getting on the board.
Khalil Herbert is in at running back next to Dalton. Bills back off on their coverage. Chris Lacey underneath makes the grab. Picks up 9 to the 39. Again, all 3 timeouts at their disposal, and they'll use one here. Mechanically, everything seems to have worked out all right. Just some of the penalties have hurt, but you see Andy Dalton, the numbers have been pretty solid. 11 of 15. He's connected on 7 of his last 8, including that one in a very tight window.
He can get in a rhythm and he can get hot pretty quickly from that standpoint. I think his decision making has been on point from that standpoint. We'll see what happens here. They've got 2 timeouts. I would try to get a big chunk in the middle of the field and then call another timeout. And they still may have that opportunity after that, but you want to get a huge chunk play right here.
Trying to get to about the 35 or so would be about the cusp of Santos's range. 35 in Buffalo territory, obviously. Dalton, back foot throw, looking for Lacey. Our fantastic crew and great equipment. You can hear that was a hold from the Buffalo defense. Instead, an incompletion, 2nd and 10.
And here, that just tells you, too, the aggressiveness of Buffalo.
Yes.
I thought they would stay too high, where Andy would have an opportunity to get that chunk over the middle. They elected going single high right there. So your throws are going to be to the outside. He tries to go to the corner route. Incomplete.
And Bill Lazor told us he expects to see more early down man-to-man, some press from Buffalo today, just to, as teams seem to evaluate their defensive backs. They're playing press here. And Dalton trying to maneuver through the pocket. Not much room there.
And dropped to a too high. They showed the same look and dropped to a cover 2 where the middle of the field would have been open there. So they're mixing their coverages.
2nd timeout used here by the Bears with 21 seconds to go. This is a press coverage on the outside. This is how they're evaluating some of their backup defensive backs. That's Nick McLeod matched up with Riley Ridley.
Yeah, a little too handsy past 5 yards is what I would say.
Sure.
But, yeah, this is a very aggressive defense.
They had one of the highest blitz rates in the NFL last year. We mentioned they're a almost purely nickel defense, so there's always 5 backs. But that nickel gets a lot of takeaways, and they get some sacks out of it, too, because of how Leslie Frazier mixes things up. Another 3rd and long here for Dalton and the Bears offense. Good protection. Dalton down the middle, though. It's intercepted. Right on cue, it's Nick McLeod. And McLeod takes it past the 40. We were just talking about the aggressiveness and the high takeaway totals for the Bills defense.
Yeah. Physical at the top. Adams looks like he fell down coming out of his break. He's got the deep in cut. That's what Dalton is counting on. And then you see him, he fell on the ground. So he normally would have crossed the face of McLeod, I would think. Stumbles. The ball's already gone.
Yeah.
Dalton had already thrown it. So it looks terrible. That's why you get the boos. But Adams, again, attention to details. Can't fall down at the top of your stem when you're breaking on an in cut. And Andy's just kind of smiling. Hey, it's been that kind of day is what he's shrugging it off to.
Still 1 timeout for Buffalo here. They're on the cusp of Tyler Bass's range, so a few yards and a timeout for Buffalo might lead to a field goal attempt. Trubisky rolling. Fires to the sideline for Kumerow. And it's a catch for Jake Kumerow. Big chunk play. They get 16 yards and can set up a field goal.
He's up in the air. Yeah, he gets his feet down.
Somewhere Stryker, the mascot for South Elgin, is smiling.
Shelley's trying to push him out of bounds. That's really your only defense, is forcing him out of bounds, other than just picking him up and throwing him out of bounds rather than pushing him.
Yep. The Kumerow, South Elgin High School. His dad, Eric, was a linebacker for Miami out of Ohio State. Was with the Packers, was actually putting together good numbers with Aaron Rodgers, had a touchdown late in the year and then got cut and ended up with Buffalo and produced late in the season. Tyler Bass from 41 makes it all Buffalo in the first half, 34-6 Bills. Good work from Mitch Trubisky. I'm sure that felt good for the former Bears quarterback. A couple of solid moments for Dalton, but some moments of frustration as well. But we'll see a good chunk of Justin Fields and the rest of the crew in the second half. Lou Canellis is on the other side with our halftime report. Getting set for the start of the second half of the second preseason game. All Bills in the first half. Expecting to see plenty of Justin Fields for the Bears in the second half. So we're going to look at our Miller Lite first half stats. What sticks out to you? It wasn't clean at times.
No, first downs, there's a problem there. 4. Why? Because they're 0-5 on third down. That's why you're only logging 4 first downs. Then, of course, the turnovers. You got 2 turnovers. The penalties are problematic. It's setting them back to third and long situation. So, again, attention to detail, more polish from that standpoint.
Back at Soldier Field in Chicago, Adam Amin, Jim Miller, Lou Canellis, our great crews with you on this great Saturday on NFL Network as well. So your thoughts on what we might see from Justin Fields here in the second half? He had a groin issue this week, held out more for precaution than anything else.
I saw him on Wednesday. He was actually doing some sprints. He looked good, so It looked like he could open up. So I'm expecting the run game to open up. You know, the edge defenders are going to have to respect that on inside zone runs. Then be alert for him to bail it out of the pocket. Of course, he can take off at a moment's notice. But I think for him, provide excitement and just really motivate your team. You know, don't even worry about the score right now. Again, a one play at a time scenario, and I think that's all he's focused on. But he will make some electric plays. There is no doubt about that.
It will be Buffalo ball to start the second half. Bears will kick away. Excited to see more of Justin Fields this afternoon. Bills' offense was excellent, led by Trubisky in the first half. They scored on 6 of their 7 first-half possessions. Brian Johnson, as he did last week, will take over second-half kicking duties, the rookie out of Virginia Tech. And Marquez Stevenson out of the University of Houston, a guy that can absolutely fly at top speed, is back to return. A very productive few years as a top-line receiver in the American Conference and as an excellent special teamer. 3 kickoff return touchdowns in his final 2 years of college. Here he comes. And there he goes. Good top-end speed, but good job in space by Thomas Graham Jr. Rookie out of Oregon makes that stop. We'll see more of him in the second half. So Buffalo's offense is out there. So this is a fascinating little tiny storyline that you get in these preseason games. Remember, Jake Fromm and Justin Fields were both battling for the starting quarterback job at the University of Georgia. Kirby Smart opted to go with the guy who won his battle. That was Jake Fromm. Fields ends up going to Ohio State. Fromm has a decent, not as productive, but a really decent, solid college career. And now both of them are in much different positions in the NFL right now. There's Stevenson on the grab, hit by Xavier Crawford. So you got Fromm, who was essentially the COVID emergency quarterback last year, got plenty of time, and actually was very important for Buffalo in their victory over Detroit last year.
Yeah, I think he probably doesn't have the strongest arm around the NFL, but he plays efficiently. Again, he gets the ball out of his hand. Good run play action quarterback and anticipates a throw, but he's not going to wow you with the athleticism of running for touchdowns or making the explosive play with his arm.
Jacob Hollister makes the catch. He's got 8 yards and a first down to the 32-yard line. Josh Woods was there to make the stop on the Buffalo pass catcher. We're getting into the second and third teamers for the Bears defense. Houston, Carson, and Bush. The backups are both in at safety. Burns is still out there at corner. Fromm whips it for Tanner Gentry. Gentry, the former teammate at Wyoming of Josh Allen. He makes the catch for 9. So Sean Desai had some frustrating moments in that first half. Clearly, what would you like to see from the Bears defense?
Well, I think right there, you know, what should be about a 3-yard play ends up being a 6-yard play because you've got a missed tackle by Josh Woods. So again, wrapping and tackling has been an issue this game. So need to see more finish from the Chicago Bears in their secondary.
Fromm under pressure, and it's knocked down by Marquis Christian. Defensive back coming in on the blitz.
Nice play by Marquis right there. Again, comes with the energy, comes in with his hands up. He's alert. in order to get that bat down. If not, that would have been a devastating hit on Fromm.
Marquis Christian, 56 games played in his career. 1 with the New York Jets last year, and then played in the wild card game for the Bears against New Orleans as well. 3rd down and 1. Inside handoff again, and Reggie Gilliam, for the 3rd time today, converts twice for touchdowns, and this time he picks up the 1st down.
Yeah, they've gone back to the well with the 14 belly with Gilliam many times.
That eye set is very popular. Hey, good for Mitch Trubisky. Obviously comes back to his old stomping grounds, put together some really nice offensive drives for Buffalo.
Really did. Made some nice throws. I thought he was very effective early in the game with the quick passing attack, allowed to run after the catch for the Buffalo Bills receivers. What many questioned his accuracy, but I thought he was on point today for the Buffalo Bills.
Fresh set of downs from the 45. Draw play for Breida, and he slips tackles and has another 1st down. So I'm sure this is what Sean Desai is going to be looking at. We are too. Josh Woods, another missed tackle. Not as sharp tackling this week as we saw a week ago.
Yeah, I think it was a lot cleaner last week. Good, nice blocking by the Buffalo Bills. Give them a lot of credit, but it's really rapid tackle right here. And they called a perfect play against cover 2.
Yeah.
I mean, they really did. Bears dropped to a cover 2, kind of opened up the middle of the field, and they attacked right where the defense is weak.
Screen against blitz, draw against cover 2. Those are the 2 really productive moments. Fromm in a collapsing pocket, launches it up there for Lance Lenoir, and it's incomplete. Xavier Crawford in coverage. Man, Crawford's been tested. He's made a couple of nice plays.
Kind of a dangerous throw. Bears got nice pressure. Little high, just lobbing it up there from that standpoint. Crawford almost had an opportunity to get underneath it.
So Dalton with the shoulder pads off, he's obviously done for the day, and now he and Justin Fields sharing a moment as Justin prepares to take the field on the offensive end.
That's what I was struck with by Fields, just how comfortable he looked on the field last week, and obviously he looks comfortable on the sideline as he's probably about ready to suit up to play here this 2nd half.
Fromm, comeback route for Stevenson, and he could not hold on to it. Crawford again tested that time. Crawford battling for one of those backup spots, a practice squad slot perhaps.
Yeah, I think he got a little antsy. He led the receiver up the field into Crawford, where I think he felt a little uncomfortable. He got away with a little push off there too, I would think, on Crawford.
Yeah. Crawford, 1st-year pro out of Central Michigan, picked up a couple of years ago from Miami. Played the final 3 games last year. 3rd and 10. 4-man rush, and Fromm gets wrapped up and brought down. It is Mario Edwards. 2nd sack of the day for the Bears.
This is where I think he's sneaky good when you look at Edwards. Last year in a pinch, he can line up as a 3 technique, or you put him in a NASCAR package from that standpoint. I thought he played well down the stretch for Chicago. Really going to be a rotational player. But
some of the depth, though, that you've talked about, Jimmy, on both the defensive line and the linebackers could provide opportunities for one of those NASCAR-type speed packages.
I really believe it. I think it's going to help out, whether it's Vildor starting out there at the cornerback position opposite Jalen Johnson. You have a very strong interior and the depth that you mentioned for the Chicago Bears. They're big, and yet they've got versatile guys like Bilal Nichols and Mario Edwards that really could do some interesting things on the inside.
Listen to the roar as Justin Fields is coming out for the 2nd half. Time for Justin Fields after a very rock-solid preseason debut last week. See what his numbers were at Ohio State. Shortened season last year, full season the year prior. 2 trips to the college football playoffs, including 1 trip to the finals last year. From the 15. Underneath for Khalil Herbert, and about 3 dragged out by Tariq Thompson. So we got to see Justin Fields last week. A couple of rough moments, but for the most part, it was really good.
Nice job attacking the outside, able to get positive play, and then this was a heck of a throw. The throwback to his tight end, James Jesse James. And then this one, the way he was able to skirt around again, using his mobility to stick it in the end zone. Again, sticks his shoulder down there. Had 15 rushing touchdowns, but he can do it all. But again, even on this first play that he just completed to the flat, made it a lot. Look at it. The amount of just calmness in which he did everything and how he performed, it definitely is not too big for him.
Well, some communication there was an issue. So Justin Fields will get reset with Bill Lazor and Matt Nagy. So let's dive into this a little bit, because this is a major storyline, not just for Justin Fields, but for rookie quarterbacks around the NFL. Zach Wilson's dealing with this. Trevor Lawrence is dealing with this. How do you learn, how do you pick up from going to college and taking all the plays and no huddle on the sideline to now spouting out X slot, angle right, 74 track, like every layer of play calling? It seems like he's getting better and better.
Yeah, I think he works at it. I think he takes it extremely seriously. You know, when you and I talked to Bill Lazor, his offensive coordinator, he'll text him late at night and said, hey, I don't mean to bother you at home, but I'm having some trouble with this. But he takes it seriously, and you got to keep on going over it again and again. There are no shortcuts, and I think he has really done his due diligence, and why he looked so calm last week. And from right now, what I see, he looks pretty poised early here in this second half.
Fields looking for Lacy, has him right near the sticks at the 25-yard line.
But I will say this, I've never seen a crowd for a preseason game. Last week there's a standing O. This week there's a standing. It reminds me of the movie Incredibles, where Mr. Incredible pulls into his driveway and the kid's in the big wheel, and Mr. Incredible gets out of his car. He's like, what are you looking at? He goes, something amazing. You know, it's like everybody expects this young man to do something amazing, and he's capable of it. But, you just don't want to put too much pressure on him. But he definitely knows he's capable of it and really seems to be poised to able to go about his business.
Here's Herbert. Good job to slip through that hole, and a good gain on first down for Khalil Herbert.
But just even something small as that. You got an inside zone run. Here he carries out his fake. He boots to the outside. It just stuns the end man on the line of scrimmage. I just think it's going to create more open running holes on the inside. It looks like we got a flag here. We'll see what the penalty's on.
Yeah, Justin Zimmer is down, holding his elbow, and we also have a penalty marker as well. Already that's an issue, as you can see, with Zimmer, with the big brace on that right arm. An official's timeout to sort things out with 9.5 left in the third.
Here's the crackback block on Chris Lacy right here. He comes down and goes low. So we'll get into this rule here in a little bit with Adam, but they're going to call that now. It's a new emphasis in the NFL, and this goes back a long time with Hines Ward, but now going low is a big part of it as well, Adam.
Yeah, so you guys are probably familiar with the term tackle box. That has been changed essentially to the tight end box. And if a low block by either the defense or the offense occurs within the tight end box, that is going to be a penalty as of this year. They want to cut out low blocks that are more dangerous on both sides of the field. So 1st and 22 after the Lacy penalty. Fields able to navigate the sideline and get a gain out of it back near the 20-yard line.
And I like him getting down right there. That's a smart play.
Yes.
One, heady to feel the pressure. One, he doesn't feel forced to throw the ball downfield. He's not panicked from that standpoint. But, hey, it's first down. Don't panic. Just slide. Get out of bounds.
Cameron Lewis was down on the deck for Buffalo. There's the footwork and navigation of the sideline.
It's smart. Yeah, look at the tight footwork there to get upfield. Again, protect your body. He's too tough. We've seen big quarterbacks get hurt. Whether it's Andrew Luck, he's a 250-pound guy. You look at Cam Newton, he's legit 245.
Yeah.
These guys have been banged up with injuries.
Part of it, too, because you have bigger quarterbacks who do move a lot, they feel that they can absorb more contact. So they might be a little more bold than somebody like, let's say, a Russell Wilson or a Breeze to take that contact.
I think that's the guy, Russell Wilson. Because even though Fields is a bigger quarterback, Russell, to me, is probably the savviest to doing it. And you want to know what backs it up? He's never missed a practice, and he's never missed a game.
Start. Still, to this day, after a decade in the league.
But you watch him. He's conscious of it. He'll get out of bounds. He'll slide. He knows when he's got a got-it situation where he's got to get it. But right there, it's first down, Fields, smart play. I think he's heady, he's aware, and he's displaying that for everybody.
9 minutes to play in the third here. We will close this one out today in Chicago. Bears will hit the road to close out the preseason next week against the Tennessee Titans. That'll be Saturday night from Nashville, Tennessee, 6 p.m. Central Time kickoff. We'll have all the action right here on Fox 32 Chicago. It's brought to us by Advocate Healthcare. We'll see what the personnel is for Tennessee next week, but man, they bolstered their offense, with the addition of Julio Jones.
Absolutely. Corey Davis signs on to the Jets, and I think that's a good getting Julio Jones.
Fields looking deep for Riley Ridley, and incomplete. Rashad Wildgoose, the rookie out of Wisconsin, was in coverage. 3rd down and long coming up for the Bears.
Yeah, press coverage. He's taking a shot to Ridley. It's a nice release by Ridley. A nice release. I thought this was an excellent throw by Fields. I think you got to get 2 hands out there. Let me see if he gets arm barred. Yeah, his left arm gets a little arm barred. Maybe they could have called that potentially, but that's a nice throw. Like to see more finish from that standpoint and fight to try and hold that in, but kind of got arm barred right there where the flag could have been thrown.
4th time that the Bears have had a 3rd and 10 plus. First for Fields. 4-man rush. Fields strong in the pocket, but a low throw. Looking for Jesper Horsted, and it'll bring up 4th down. I think Matt Nagy still talking about the previous moment with the Riley Ridley, Rashad Wildgoose play.
Yeah, I think they were looking for a flag on that play, and even on the last play where Fields tried, I'm thinking he might have gotten hit while that ball sailed into the dirt right there. I think his right elbow just got nicked by the defensive lineman running past him.
So Pat O'Donnell will punt away again. Boy, another good one. Directed towards the sideline. The speedy Stevenson has it. There he goes. Marquez Stevenson, an absolute top-end speed burner. And Marquez Stevenson has taken it to the house for a 79-yard punt return for a touchdown. We talked about it in Houston. This guy was a burner.
He pinned him. There's Caleb Johnson again. It's an open field tackle. You're trying to seal it to the backside. I mean, the reason why you're pinning him back to the right side is to not allow him out the back door on the other side. So a missed tackle, and we'll have to see. I think there's an injured Bear on this play as well.
And you see Austin Calitro limping on his way back to the sideline. Marquez Stevenson, we mentioned it. Dana Holgorsen was his coach for his final couple of years in college and said, this guy reminds me of Tavon Austin, has that level of speed, and if he were to make a roster, whether here or elsewhere, it'd probably be in a slot, gadget back, punt return role.
He will, because their receiving core is so competitive as well. They're going to have a receiver to give in Buffalo. I really believe that. And other teams will tap that roster.
Impressive stuff from Stevenson, the rookie out of Houston, all Buffalo. Bills lead at 41-6 in the 3rd in Chicago. From August the 30th through September the 3rd, Bears fans across the country will have the opportunity to bid on exclusive experiences and items like Scout School at Hallis Hall, or, this is going to be something that will interest you, a VIP game day package for the home opener with field access, the Bids for Bears Care fundraiser. It's brought to us by PNC. It benefits Bears Care, the team's charitable arm. For more info, you can go to chicagobears.com/bid-for-bears-care. Tyler Bass will kick away. Daz Newsome is back to return. Got the kid with the Fields jersey and the North Carolina hat. Daz Newsome out of UNC. Out of the back of the end zone. This is an impressive Bears rookie class, headlined obviously by Justin Fields. So they had a fun day in the opener of the preseason last Saturday, and then on Sunday, Hey, swag recognizes swag. If Tim Anderson is giving you props, that means you're doing something right. Justin Fields throwing out the first pitch along with the rest of the rookies on Sunday in their contest against the Yankees. Big game yesterday for the White Sox, by the way. This is the 2021 draft class. Tevin Jenkins dealing with the back issue. We have seen Larry Borom and Khalil Herbert and Newsome. Tonga's made a nice impact on defense, and we'll see some Thomas Graham here in the second half. Here is Herbert, can't get away from F.A. Obata, the former Panther. Takes him down near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we'll try and focus in on Borom this half. I mean, he's lost a legit 40 pounds, over 40 pounds, and he does have light feet. You can see for a big man, his feet, he's able to pick him up and put him down. Had the concussion, which set him back. They tried him, thought he'd have the ability at tackle in the OTAs. Now, obviously, getting an opportunity here in the second half.
He's lined up on the left side. Herbert the back. Fields rolling and throwing, and a completion to Rodney Adams as he steps out. That'll set up a third down and manageable. So you got Larry Borom, a rookie out of Missouri, as you saw, the 5th-round pick. He was the only left tackle or right tackle in FBS college football last year that did not allow a single quarterback pressure, according to Pro Football Focus. You talked about how hard he's worked to get into shape. This is a swing tackle that could maybe play a bigger role with some of the injuries.
Yeah, well, it really says a lot about Juan Castillo because they already had this plan. People just think they put him at tackle for one day at Bears camp. That's not the case where they think he's had a chance. They've known this was coming for quite some time. Now this is the time period with the pads on where they're able to truly evaluate him.
Officials going to come in and rule that incomplete, no possession and movement up the field before that ball came out loose. So an incompletion, and it will be 4th down and 3.
Nice accurate throw. I don't know if he got in 2 steps. I thought he got 1 step in, not 2 for Adams.
That again was Rashad Wildgoose. There's Borom on the left side against Obata.
Nice kick step. Get your hands inside a little bit more. Get him inside. He's got some work to do. There's no doubt about that. But the bottom line is you're prepping guys. I mean, you don't know about Jason Peters. He has missed 20 games in the last 4 years. I think we know he can stabilize a position, but you better have some guys ready to back up. Here is Fields again, making a play.
With his feet and a first down near midfield on 4th and short. 16 on the ground.
And oddly enough, last week in the postgame, he said the game felt slow to me. Very rarely do you hear a rookie say that the game felt slow to me, but he plays at a different speed. He's probably the 4th fastest guy on the Chicago Bears, and that's a legit, option every time he steps on the field that he's going to make a play with his legs. And he just looks comfortable doing it. He doesn't look stressed out or panicked. It just looks like it's part of his natural way and how he plays.
Deep drop off the fake. Flick of the wrist, looking for James. First down to the 20. 31 yards.
Looked like that throwback play from a week ago that James scored a touchdown on. Able to sneak out. He runs a wheel route up the sideline. Able to stretch out and make the play. Nice touch on the throw, though, to allow James to haul that ball in. Sometimes if you throw it too flat, he wouldn't have been able to make that play. So, again, I expect him to get excited. That's 2 weeks in a row. He's kind of flatlined right there,
You were saying, I bet Justin Fields really excited, and he's just very calm after big plays like that. Little pitch play for Herbert. And a couple of yards as Justin Zimmer, who's back out onto the field for Buffalo after dealing with that elbow issue, makes the tackle.
And I'm surprised when I've watched, at least during the week with Justin Fields, how good of a touch player he is. Very good touch thrower, but yet he can drive the football when he needs to drive the football. But that's now 2 weeks in a row. You've seen it firsthand that he can touch it in there, he can feather it in there, but when he needs to throw the Nolan Ryan fastball, he can do that too.
Yeah, Jimmy was at practice for the entirety of the week. I'll get your thoughts on what you saw in a moment. Fields rolling to his left. There he goes. First down again.
And Now, see, this is how you break down the Buffalo Bills, because this is what Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott are saying. Don't allow him to break the tape. There's Boogie Basham. Whoops, he just broke contain. And he has that ability where, you know, he can just put so many stresses on your defense, and it's a learning moment for Boogie Basham, who they think is going to be a good player, but you get caught inside. It's dead man rights on the outside. He'll take that and get 10 yards every single time for Justin Fields.
First and goal from the 7. Under pressure right away, and Fields into a dangerous spot trying to get rid of the football. It ends up being incomplete. That was DeMar Hamlin, another one of those former Pitt defensive backs, playing for Pat Narduzzi, one of the great defensive backs coaches in college football. Ends up being second and goal. I want to go back to what we said. So you were at practice all week this week. You were really locking in on Justin Fields. Give me kind of a synopsis of what you saw this week.
Yeah, he was off the one practice where they shut it down. But I think for him, what I saw, one extremely confident young man. He's going through his learning curves. Don't get me wrong. The Bears were contesting him, but I think he doesn't get upset by it. It doesn't bother him when he has a bad play or an interception. He'll go over right away. What I noticed, what I thought was cool for a young rookie, as soon as a play maybe didn't work out, he's the first person over. And it could be a veteran, it could be another rookie player that, hey man, here's what I'm thinking on that play. What are you thinking? Say Jesse James or a veteran who's there, Goodwin or whoever. And he addresses it right there.
Right.
A lot of players as rookies, you wait for the coach to address it in the meeting room. And I think that's what really Bill Lazor talked about too to us yesterday, is that he's really on it right from the get-go when he's out there at practice to address it, and that way he can move on to the next thing.
Empty set, third and goal. Fields back of the end zone for James, and it's incomplete.
That's a great catch or great spot for the football, though. That's the only place for it. Put it high up where the ESPN cameras are, and Jesse James, he didn't have his feet under him in order to jump and make this play. He only jumped one-footed. Jesse's got to plant his feet and go up and get that. That's, from my standpoint, that is an excellent throw by Justin Fields. But again, who knows? Maybe typically that'd be a Jimmy Graham play.
Sure.
Right? Because he plays above the rim. We know he's played basketball. That's not Jesse James' strength. I think we know that. But I'm just saying, Jesse, give yourself the best opportunity to come down and make the play.
Fields on fourth and goal. Incomplete. Trying to find Rodney Adams. Fields marches him down the field. Couple of good runs on that drive. 16 and 11-yard scampers for Justin Fields. The Chicago Bears Network presents Inside the Bears, brought to you by Verizon every weekend on Fox 32 Chicago and My 50. You can host with the host, Lauren Screeden and Spice Adams. Spice and Screeden, as good as it comes. Inside the Bears, the most entertaining way to keep up with the Bears all year long. I always feel bad for Lauren because she's next to a walking meme in Spice, one of the funniest dudes around. Matt Nagy talking with the quarterbacks. A couple of nice plays for Fields on that last series. Jake Fromm back out there for Buffalo. And they'll start this drive from the 9 with a quick screen above the head of Brandon Powell. Pressure that time from Charles Snowden in the backfield for the Bears.
Yeah, nice job. They also brought the blitz from the outside. I believe the nickel on that particular play, Duke Shelley, he got his hand on that, batted it away, deflected it just enough to create an incomplete pass. A couple times they brought the nickel blitz today for the Bears.
Yeah, we saw Marquis Christian on the last series have an opportunity at it. Graham is playing corner outside, as is Crawford. Shelley in there as a nickel. Run play for Breida.
Pennell, nice job.
Mike Pennell, we saw him in the second half last week do a nice job of plugging some holes in the run game.
He looks bigger this year than he looked last year for Kansas City. I mean, he basically just stalled it up, walled off. I mean, that's just a good stalemate. See him lock out. The guard didn't have a chance. It's too strong for Pennell.
Jack Anderson was the rookie out of Texas Tech that had to go up against Mike Pennell.
Good luck with that.
7-year veteran. 91 games under his belt. His depth and experience on the front line. Fromm feeling the pressure, and he takes off for a first down with his feet. He'll take the contact as Marquis Christian made the stop.
I think it's going to be a hold on Archibong.
Yeah. Daniel Archibong held up near the line
Holding.
of scrimmage.
Offense, number 64. Plays half the distance to the goal line. Replay, third down.
Jordan Devey, one of the backup centers for this team, ends up negating the 15-yard Fromm run.
You mentioned Snowden. I thought Archibong, he played pretty well last week as well. Had the sack last week. And he's, you know, you look at him, he's so long. Him and Charles Snowden, they've got the ability to block kicks. I mean, it's something that's, you know, we've already seen a block kick in this game. I believe Archibong had a couple blocks in college.
At Temple. Snowden, a Virginia Cavalier in his college days. Matt Breida is the back on 3rd and 12. Fromm got it out of the end zone. So not a safety, but it is a sack for Sam Kamara. 3rd Bears sack of the day. And we saw Sam make some nice plays a week ago as well for the Bears defense. Rookie out of Stony Brook.
Yeah, 3 sacks at Kamara. He's big and strong. This Fromm, I thought he was holding on to the ball too long. He's fortunate he got it across to the 1-yard line.
Pennell in there again, too. And Kamara, an undrafted free agent out of an FCS school who's had to learn a couple of new spots, essentially going from inside to outside. That means you have to fall back into some pass coverage as well, and he's adapted to it nicely.
And that is a big outside backer at 275.
Yes. Here is Daz Newsome shedding a couple of tackles and a positive return for the North Carolina Tar Heel rookie. Justin Fields back to work. We talked with Bill Lazor the other day, and we kind of asked him, like, so what's the process like for a rookie? This perked my ears up a little bit. He said, it's Justin's job to learn. It is his job to go out of his way as a rookie to ask Andy Dalton, to ask John DeFilippo, to ask Bill Lazor, what is this? What can I do better here? And so far, he's done a nice job of kind of taking the initiative on himself.
Yeah, we've heard that, hey, the veteran, hey, you understand that they're drafting quarterback, you got to bring him along. They don't think that that's Andy Dalton's responsibility. They want him to watch and learn. Here he goes again.
A lot of green grass in front of Justin Fields, and he'll smartly slide down after his 3rd run in the last 2 series for a first down. 12 yards there.
Doesn't get panicked in the pocket. You see him subtly just slide. Now he sees the vision and then just takes off. This is an area he feels very comfortable in his game from that standpoint. And then the awareness to slide. Get down. No need to take a shot. Needs to stay on the field for as many plays as possible. But from what Bill Lazor said, because Andy, the contract says it all. It's a 1-year, $10 million deal. He's the starter. They said he's the starter. He's got to come in and challenge and be a better quarterback tomorrow than what he is today. And I think Fields has done that. And Andy will help him. If he does ask Andy, Andy is unselfish where he will help him. And I think Nick Foles has been that way as a teammate his whole career as well. So he's got a good group around him if he wants to tap into those resources, which he has.
You got 2 professionals right there, Foles and Dalton in that shot. 2 guys that have 20-plus years of experience at the NFL level, have played in big games, have played in playoff games, have won a Super Bowl MVP, obviously. If you're not taking advantage of that, you're doing something wrong, and that was something Bill Lazor was happy about, that Fields is taking advantage.
It's just a better situation. I'll give you an example. When Flacco signed out with the Denver Broncos and they draft Drew Lock, Flacco just came out and said, hey, I ain't here to help the kid at all. I'm going to start and do my job.
Not the case here in Chicago. A lot of learning across. Some good moments for Fields, some good moments for the defense in that 3rd quarter. To the 4th we go in Chicago. Mitch Trubisky threw for 220 yards and a touchdown pass for the Bills. Andy Dalton with a touchdown and an interception in that first half. Touchdown to Rodney Adams for the Bears. That's their lone punch today offensively on a 70-plus yard touchdown strike from Dalton Adams. Fields played the entirety of the Bears' offensive snaps in the 3rd quarter. Larry Borum has been out there for most of this second half. There is Rodney Adams. And we start the 4th quarter with Fields and the Bears marching down into Buffalo territory at the 26. 2nd down and 6. Khalil Herbert on the right hip of Fields. Pressure on Fields. Oh, the helmet came off. That's going to be a flag as well. And that ball is loose. A lot to sort out. Fields, good to see him back up on his feet. That was a jarring shot from Andre Smith.
Personal foul, left in the pass or defense number 59. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Now, whether it's a hot or whether they change the protection, this is what you worry about with a young quarterback. Clearly, he's looking the opposite direction. And as you mentioned, Smith had a direct beeline. He was not picked up at all. Nothing derailed him from getting off his path. Looked like his receiver, I believe that was Adams, so he put in motion where maybe that could have been a hot throw to the right. And you're hot off one strong from that sense because the line was sliding left, which tells you you're hot to the right. So, I don't want to temper the enthusiasm of the fans about this young man because he'll be fine. But that's a key point. He didn't understand what he was seeing right there.
Right. When you slide protection left, you have a hop to right. There's a space of open defender area where they can come in. Nobody's blocking that right side defender. Here is Khalil Herbert. Look at the speed, the shed of the tackle, and a touchdown.
Nice run.
Found the hole and popped it. Broke the tackle and scored. Khalil Herbert, second-team ACC selection at Virginia Tech a year ago. And gets the second Bears touchdown of the day.
He definitely is good in space.
Yep.
That's for certain.
Now you saw that small area he was able to muscle through. Bears will go for 2. Quick roll, Fields under pressure, stays on his feet, back of the end zone, and no good. 41-12, Bears get their second score, and good maneuvering by Herbert. Bears get their second score of the day, a Khalil Herbert rushing touchdown, 41-12. Well, my guys Lou Canellis and Jim Miller, they're both in the house today. They'll be in the house after every Bears game along with Big Ant Heron for Bears Postgame Live, brought to us by United Airlines, the only place for live postgame press conferences and player interviews. Bears Postgame Live after every game on Live 50 Chicago or Fox 32 Chicago. You can check their local listings. Fields took a shot from Andre Smith that led to a penalty. Khalil Herbert punched it home to close out the drive. It's our forward scoring drive summary. 4 plays, 96 ticks, and 6 from Herbert. There was an unnecessary roughness penalty on the Bears on the extra point on the 2-point attempt. That's why the ball is spotted at the 20. That 15-yard penalty is assessed on the kickoff. So Brandon Powell is back to return for Buffalo. Former Detroit Lion and Atlanta Falcon.
He's got some speed as well.
Weather has shifted a little bit too. You saw some of the clouds in the sky. There were some expected showers this afternoon. They've held off for the most part all day. We'll see if that changes as the day goes on. But been a pleasant, albeit humid afternoon in Chicago this afternoon. Ryan Johnson kicks away. Still a good kick to get it all the way to the 7. There's Caleb Johnson. I think Caleb was tired of missing some tackles, so he just shoved the Buffalo player into Powell for a special team stop.
Yeah, he used him as almost like a blocking sled, just pushing him right back. Nice job by Caleb right there.
Boy, knocked Elijah Griffin, the rookie out of USC, right into Powell. A good play there by Caleb, who's out there on the defensive end. And Davis Webb will check in for Buffalo as their next quarterback. Former Texas Tech Red Raider and Cal Golden Bear, former New York Giant, New York Jet. He's been with the Bills since 2019, has yet to appear in a regular season game. Blitz coming on Webb. Hit as he throws, and it's incomplete for Powell. It was Josh Woods getting into the backfield. maybe an opportunity here in the fourth for the defense to get a little bit of traction as well.
Yeah, really just a blitz, and obviously Josh Woods able to split it right there as the tackle's got to go out to engage the end man on the line of scrimmage, forces Webb a little short on that play, but just pressures him to make a quick decision. Leads to a second down call.
Reggie Gilliam, who's an excellent fullback, now getting some deep back duties in the eye, and LaCale London has pushed some offensive linemen back a couple times today. He and Snowden in on the stop.
LaCale's another guy. We've talked about the guys that have lost weight. LaCale's one who's actually gained weight from his standpoint, really playing more stout at the point of attack.
Former Western Illinois standout, Peoria native. See if the Bears bring pressure on Webb on 3rd and 10. They'll bring 4. Webb. Thomas Graham is there. Interception for the rookie out of Oregon. Whistles are blowing. He's ruled down back at the 28-yard line. They're going to whistle the play dead, but that is a pick for Graham. They're going to say down or pick. This might end up being incomplete, actually. Yeah, it is incomplete. Thought for a second they would rule him down, but they're going to say the ball was down. No possession either way. Great break by Graham. And indeed, that's an incomplete pass. Good call.
Ball hit the ground. Nice job undercutting Duke Williams right there.
Yeah.
Duke's kind of falling away from the quarterback. That allows the avenue or the lane for Graham to step in front of it. So nice heady play. Again, just finish it. Finish the play, try and secure that football. Would have been a difficult catch, but I think he's talented enough to make that play. And he knows it too, but nice job.
Battling for that rookie spot. He's playing a little outside corner here, but that rookie from Oregon looking for that nickel slot as well.
8 picks in college. Almost had one here in the pros.
Remember, didn't play last year in college. He did play in the Senior Bowl, but he opted out of Oregon's final year. Daz Newsome on the return. It'll be a positive return. Just shy of the 30. 54-yard punt for Hawk. Some exciting moments from the Bears defense. You saw pressure, you saw a near interception, and now you see Justin Fields coming out. Position in Bears history. Plenty of Hall of Fame linebackers going from Bill George and Dick Butkus, Mike Singletary, Brian Urlacher, Bulldog Turner, who played both center and linebacker in the 60s. George Connor was a multiple position player, including linebacker in the Hall of Fame. As storied as it gets. Justin Fields back to work from the 28. Artavis Pierce is the lone back. And here is Artavis, who busted out a big run last week. Won't get much there in that stout Buffalo front.
Yeah, and you mentioned, but you know, you look at Roquan Smith, the start he's off to as a young inside linebacker for the Chicago Bears. Over 139 tackles last year. I mean, he is just an incredible player, ascending, and the best is yet to come, I think, from his standpoint.
Yeah, more depth at that position again. We've been talking about Ogletree battling for a spot, Woods, Iebuniwe in that mix, Caleb Johnson. There's Woods talking with Akeem Hicks. 2nd and 11. Fields, deep shot. John Bay Johnson makes the grab, a difficult one. And at midfield, he went up to get it and absorbed the Josh Thomas hit. 23-yard strike.
Nice job by Justin Fields, because if you saw, obviously the safety was dropping at the snap of the ball. They were going to basically a quarter half where it's cover 2 to that side, but yet still feels comfortable drilling the hole shot to the backside to Johnson to come down with it. So that's a difficult read for a young quarterback. We saw the touch throws, now the drill shot.
Now, a challenge flag is thrown by Sean McDermott. This is a good challenge. You saw right at the end there, maybe the ball, while it was near the shoulder of Johnson, was jarred loose enough for a potential incompletion. And that's
Buffalo is challenging the rule in the field of a completed catch.
We'll try and check out the replay here. Johnson, nice job going up to high point the football. Gets it.
Close, very close. We'll see if there's enough to overturn it or if it stands. We'll find out on the other side. Indeed, it was a successful challenge from Sean McDermott. He is out of challenges, as used both today, but a successful one. John Vay Johnson unable to complete the process of the catch. The ball was loose at the end of it. So it's an incompletion, and back it goes to 3rd down and 11. The clock restarts on the snap at 12:48. Movement off the left side. Larry Borum is on that side along with Arlington Hambright. Hambright with a new number this week because Jason Peters, the veteran, has always been 71. Of course, Peters, the former Buffalo Bill.
I love that when the offensive line points at the defensive line. Defensive line points.
False
no,
start.
it's false start. No, it was neutral zone infraction. No, false start.
5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
It's the Spider-Man meme. It's the gif of the two Spider-Mans. So there's Peters, who actually does have a reception for a touchdown, to his credit, in a Buffalo Bills uniform.
But it creates a 3rd long. Again, Bears are 0-8 on 3rd down conversions right now. Just had the one called back here that was challenged, so we'll see what happens here.
And the average to go in those spots has been more than 10 yards, and that's the case here too, 3rd and 16. So 4-man rush from Buffalo. Fields maneuvering, sidearm sling, and he connects with C.J. Marable, the rookie. He'll take it out near the 30-yard line, picks up 7, and that'll bring up 4th down. Another rookie in that backfield out of Coastal Carolina. Put together a very impressive season last year. Had a great game against Zach Wilson and BYU. That was a nationally televised game. A lot of people started to take notice of a program on the rise, and CJ comes out of that program.
Pat O'Donnell's had a busy day today, but he's boomed them. He's had some nice punts today for the Chicago Bears. Nice strong leg, one of the best.
Now let's see if the coverage unit can elevate their game, because O'Donnell's been doing his job. Another good hang time and some direction outside the numbers. Brandon Powell on the return, taking it to the middle of the field again. And he gets knocked down past the 30. 16-yard return on another 55-yard shot from O'Donnell. Well, the NFL is committed to conversations and actions that move us toward a more equal and just tomorrow. The Inspire Change initiative showcases how the NFL players, clubs, and the league itself are joining together to ensure that access to opportunity is a reality for everyone, and to create progress in police community relations, criminal justice reform, education, and economic advancement. To learn more about Inspire Change and the league's impact, visit NFL.com/InspireChange. Glad you're with us here in Chicago on the Bears Network and across the country on NFL Network, part of a long day of preseason football once again. You're getting your fix sitting on your couch. You've got Davis Webb back in the game for Buffalo, working from the 33-yard line with a screen pass to Brandon Powell. Got past Graham and Johnson and then into the arms of Daniel Archibald. Works to the 38. It's a pickup of 5. There is Archibald out of Temple. When you played at Temple the last about decade or so, you might have played for Matt Rule, who's now the Carolina Panthers head coach. Single-digit numbers were a big deal. If you were 1 through 9, 0 through 9, that means you earned your respect of your teammates. Archibald was one of those single-digit numbers guys as a Temple Owl. That's a very important thing to that program, as it is to a lot of programs.
And they've had a lot of players drafted out there.
Absolutely.
Obviously, Deion Dawkins, and you look at the current Carolina Panthers, they consist of about 8 players on that roster.
Robbie Anderson, Hassan Reddick was a really good defensive end at Temple. Obviously, this guy knows Temple very well. Sean Desai, the defensive coordinator for the Bears, Temple grad, actually a master's in higher and post-secondary education from Columbia University, and then his doctorate in educational administration in 2008 at Temple. He served as an adjunct professor there for a couple of years and still continues to teach a class.
And that's what really coaching is. It's teaching.
Yep. There's a first down for Reggie Gilliam as he converts another short situation. But Sean, obviously, I was very proud last week as a South Asian person, as a descendant of South Asian people, first South Asian and Indian American more specifically to be a coordinator in the NFL. His parents are from Gujarat, which is one of the largest cities in India. It's actually the state of Gujarat. It's the westernmost state of India. It's situated right on the Indian Ocean. It's on the border of Pakistan. His dad is from a small village in the rural part of the state. His mom is from Ahmedabad, a city with twice the population of Chicago. That's still only the 5th biggest city in the entire country of India. A lot of history for Sean Desai. Nice throw by Davis Webb over the top for Nate Becker. Trying to connect with him, and he does at the 41-yard line over the top of the defender.
Yeah, even though he was just waiting for it to uncover, and again, he puts it in the perfect spot. He keeps it high where only his receiver can get it. That is a heck of a throw by Webb. He thought his fortunes were going to be made at Texas Tech, and then this guy, Patrick Mahomes, shows up. He's got to transfer to Cal as he got injured, and he got kind of Wally pipped out of the job there at Texas Tech.
Absolutely, he did. Well, that was that Texas Tech ended up being an interesting launch pad for guys like Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, Mayfield went to Oklahoma afterwards, but Webb was looked at as a very impressive recruit out of high school, was drafted by the Giants, spent time with the Jets, and now the Bills. So really the New York State tour for Davis Webb has taken place.
Yeah, rolling to his right there. Nice 2 accurate throws on the move by Davis Webb. Receiver able to just drag his feet.
So Matt Nagy challenging Lance Lenoir's ruled catch. He had both feet down with possession is the question before he slid out of bounds.
Yeah, his right, he was able to get his right toe. His left one's in right there. His right one's off the ground. Now it hits the ground. I think it's a catch.
It's basically the timing of 3 things. Left foot, when the knee is out of bounds, and the right foot. What is the order of when those things touch down in bounds? If the feet were down first before the knee, then it's a completion.
Good point. And even if it's the shin, like you said.
Yeah, or shin. That's fair, too. Yep. Very fair. Obviously, the officials going through their motions. They're using the tablets now, those Microsoft Surface tablets on the sidelines for taking a look at replays.
Yeah, I mean, I know we all get upset about fish. Let's see if the shin is down. See, I think he gets his toe down right there. I think his toe is down.
I'm with you on that. From that angle, looks to be a catch, right?
And I mean, I get as upset about bad calls as everybody else, but, here where you just explained the new rule on the chop block or the tight end block.
The field stance is called. Chicago will be charged with a timeout.
And just more rules get added every year to these guys' menu that they've got to be aware of. There's a lot to call.
It's a fascinating place where the league is right now because technology is at a speedy pace in terms of what you can apply, and when technology gives you more opportunities to see the game as deeply as it's being seen, criticism and scrutiny is going to go up because evidence is there in the post. The aftermath.
I'm still all in favor for the Sky Booth official. I hope it's coming here in the near future,
like a VAR style, one person kind of in charge of each game. Exchange, little miscue on the exchange from center to quarterback, and the Bears may end up with the ball. Caleb Johnson came out with it, and indeed the Bears have a takeaway here in the 4th quarter. That's got to feel good for Caleb. He's had an up and down first couple of games, but his ups have been nice.
Yeah, he really has. Well, you can see the efforts there. Here it's late in the game. He's still going hard, flying in there to recover the fumble. Muff snap, you never think you got to be ready for it, and the Bears swarm all over it.
This is what Sean Desai wants, right? You want to get the takeaway number back up to where it was a few years ago.
Well, again, you got to have the vision. His number one criteria is always keep your eye on the ball. From the quarterback center exchange to maybe it's the mesh of the running back till the quarterback delivers it. And right there, that was a nice job by Caleb reacting to it once he saw the ball in the air.
Fields, kind of an athletic play there to jump in a collapsing pocket and get it to Pierce for a gain of 5. There's no question that it's not that Justin Fields is the most athletic quarterback. He might be the most athletic guy on the field at any given moment.
There's no doubt. I mean, when he was weaving through the defense, we've seen it today, we saw it last week. It does. Everybody else looks a tick slow compared to him. There are certain quarterbacks that just, and running backs and players that just play at another level of speed. We know the Tyreek Hills, the Michael Vicks of the world. There's that blitz again.
Yeah, and he got rid of it. Stood strong in the pocket as Elijah Griffin was racing in on Fields, and he's able to find Daz Newsome, the rookie, for a first down.
And this is what I like, the calmness of him. Here he got lit up. It's essentially, the last one was a Sam blitz. this is the first DB off that side, and technically it's the same thing.
Right.
It's a Sam Bliss.
Strong side, extra guy.
Yeah.
That might be a face mask penalty. We'll see. Potentially a hold, too, but it's complete for a gain into Buffalo territory, and Artavis Pierce will check that flag. Maybe there was some contact with Fields' helmet. Now I sit back and wait to be proven wrong, as is often the case.
But on both those blitzes, he will stand in the pocket tall.
Took the Andre Smith hit, and then that time he saw the pressure coming and got rid of it clean.
Hey.
I mean, he easily
Coach. Hey, Coach.
Hey, buddy, I got a question for you.
Well, he easily could have had rabbit feet in the pocket, much
Sure.
like the official did there, the way he was talking to Coach Nagy. But, you know, he didn't. He's got his feet firm on the ground. He's not, you know, there's nothing seems to really unsettle him from what I've noticed the first 2 weeks.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense number 90. 5 yards, automatic first down.
A fresh set of downs after the Brandon Bryant penalty. So they'll spot the ball right at midfield, and it's 1st and 10. It is a really good front for Buffalo, though. Russo, a good addition. Obata's a good free agent pickup the last couple of years. You know about Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison. Latulele. Nice dump off for Jesper Horsted, who lost the football into the hands of Thompson. We'll see what the ruling is if he was down, if it's an incompletion, or if it's a completion and a fumble to Buffalo. And Fields is limping a little bit now, too, and that's a concern. It will be Bears football, but Fields a little uncomfortable looking all of a sudden.
Well, you had the groin earlier in the week. You wonder if he aggravated. Well, let's see. Does the ball look like it's out? Knees down.
Knees down. Yep, that's the right call.
I would say he's down.
Yeah, clear call. Fields stays in from the 41. Timeout from Sean McDermott here. Let's see what happened with Justin Fields. He continues to limp. This is him maneuvering on that last play. He took a hit from Boogie Basham, rookie out of Wake Forest. Boogie, a really good player, 2nd-round pick, put the contact on Fields. A little bit of a grimace at a point, some discomfort.
Yeah, limping a little. He landed on his hip. I don't want to speculate on his injury, but sometimes those are the type of plays you can get a hip pointer on, something like that. He looks to be all right. He's shaking it off. And I will say that. There is no way you can question this kid's toughness.
No, not at all.
I mean, that hit earlier that he sustained by Andre Smith is evidence alone, much like the college playoff game versus Clemson.
Oh, my gosh. Think of the guys that he had to go. One of the best defensive lines in the last 5 years in college football.
Incredible how he gutted that game out.
There's a run for C.J. Marable, and he picks up the first down to the Buffalo 36. So Field stays out there. A little bit of a sigh of relief collectively from the city. Past the halfway point of the 4th. Blitz from the Bills. Fields has a man, and it's a completion to Jon'Vea Johnson. He runs back behind the line to gain. It ends up being an 8-yard pickup.
Nice read.
Yeah.
Strong side goes opposite the safety, rolled up coverage to his right, and hits the backside slant.
We'll check the
Illegal
flag.
use of hands to the face, offense, number 53. 10-yard penalty, replay 50, first down.
That's unfortunate. It's Arlington Hambright who picks up the penalty, 53 on the left.
Playing the left guard spot. Yep. You see it right there. He's
Pretty
got
easy.
the face mask.
Yep. Right into the face of Justin Zimmer. Arlington Hambright in his 2nd year out of Colorado. 9 games played and 1 start last year. So it sets him back to 1st and 20. Handoff for Pierce with space. Nice cut by Artavis Pierce. Gets the penalty yardage back as he's tackled by DeMar Hamlin after 10. So that makes it a 2nd and 10. Good cushion maintenance play by Pierce.
And now we can talk about the right tackle, Latavius Simmons, who you and I talked to Bill Lazor. He said this guy's come a long way. He's had every snap of this game at the right tackle spot.
There he is. He's trying to work on Boogie Basham. Fields evading pressure. Oh, this is Mahomes-esque as he launches it away. Good pressure by the Bills and F.A. Obada, but a good job by Fields to stay on his feet and save the play. 3rd and 10.
And I always worry about it. I mean, I just go back to old school coaching. Whenever you're retreating like that in the pocket, coaches used to go bonkers. They would go bonkers. Jim, like one time I took a sack doing that. Don't you ever do that again with Mahomes or Russell Wilson and this young man or Josh Allen.
Yeah,
guys
a little different, yeah.
Guys who are so athletic, it doesn't faze them at all.
Yeah, don't forget Josh Allen can be as electric as anybody else in the league running the football.
Nice fake.
There's Fields, smartly takes the slide down as he was getting close to the pressure. Tariq Thompson, the rookie, was there to force him out of the pocket.
Well, to tell you how athletic Josh is, I think if he has 9 touchdowns this year, he will pass Cam Newton.
Yes.
For rushing touchdowns this early in his career. I mean, that's saying something. This guy can run the football.
He's already set all the Buffalo quarterback rushing records and all that good stuff. 54-yard try here. This will be a nice test for Brian Johnson. Nice job to handle the low snap, and Brian Johnson had the distance, and it's good. Good work by Pat O'Donnell there. Low snap, got the laces out, and put it into a great spot for Brian Johnson to deliver a long field goal. Bears with a couple of touchdowns and a field goal on the offensive end. Let's take a look at our Miller Lite Player of the Game. 2 weeks in a row that Rodney Adams has made a really nice impact on the game. Last week had a couple of nice catches and a touchdown this week.
Yeah, really on the outside, one-on-one. Well, this last week versus Miami. Climbs the ladder right there, able to get his feet down. Nice job just going over the defensive back to come down with it. Does it again. Grabs it off the helmet and then doesn't really miss a stride. Shows his speed to close it out and get in the end zone. A player that has flashed 2 weeks in a row for the Chicago Bears.
Whether it leads to a spot on the practice squad or on the roster or anything else, this is a guy who's trying to play his first NFL game in the regular season. And moments like that certainly pave the way to getting a chance, whether here or somewhere else. For Rodney Adams, a St. Petersburg native who began his career at Toledo before he had to transfer back home to USF after the passing of his mother. 5.5 to go. And a touchback from Johnson. I looked up to see what Johnson's reaction was. Fist pump after the touchback, like Tiger Woods.
Well, I mean, essentially, he's showing a big leg, obviously, with the kickoff there and a nice field goal right there. But Gary Santos coming off one of his best years. Chris Tabor is just ecstatic. This will be the first year he's got all 3 guys back. Pat O'Donnell, Patrick Scales, and then signing Gary Santos, went on an epic run. He didn't miss a game or miss a field goal since September last year, and then obviously last week banked home the 53-yarder.
It was a 27 straight makes after the miss against Atlanta. Davis Webb, a little bit of a miscue, but is able to get it to Gilliam, and Gilliam is able to get the first down. Nice day for Reggie Gilliam. 12-yard pickup there for the Bills fullback, playing some deep back right now. This is a Buffalo Bills team coming off a 13-3 season. They lost to Tennessee in Week 5, Kansas City in Week 6, the Hale Murray game, Murray to Hopkins against Arizona in Week 10. That was it. They won their last 6 games, won a couple of playoff games, and then had the showdown with Kansas City in the AFC title game. That image of Stephon Diggs looking at the celebration is burned into the memory of a lot of Bills fans after a division title. They're hoping to build off that this year.
Yeah, first time since '95 they were able to capture that division title.
I was in Denver. We got to call the game, and Josh Allen put together a phenomenal performance. They obviously love him there. They signed a huge extension, guaranteed him $150 million. This looks like a lineup. We talk a lot about Tampa Bay, right? Bringing all these starters back. Buffalo has brought home a lot of last year's 22 starters.
The AFC is going to be interesting, and who's got something to say to challenge the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
Baltimore's got an interesting team come back. People are counting out Pittsburgh. I'd be careful counting out Pittsburgh.
Ben Roethlisberger feels like, at least seemingly from the outside, looks like a little leaner, a little healthier. He's had injury issues the last 3 seasons.
And then what does Cleveland have something to say about it?
Playoff team last year, made a great run. Cole Beasley as well, one of the more productive slot guys in the NFL. We know about Emmanuel Sanders, one of the few signings that they made. You mentioned it. They made a bunch of moves before 2020 and made a bunch of moves in season. Very few moves this offseason. Sanders is one of the few.
Yeah, there are not a lot of holes in this roster. So players that they've had, they were able to replace. At some you would think are upgrades from that. And they got younger in certain positions to boot. I love this receiving core. Again, I think they'll have a receiver to give coming out of camp. A lot of teams will be trying to raid this roster when it's all said and done, depending on their final 53. Good pressure, fumble.
Gibson with the hit. Loose ball on the deck. Johnson was battling and scrapping for it. And he comes out of the pack with it. It's Bears football.
Couple of plays in the fourth. He's playing, he's finishing to the end. I'll give Johnson credit. Yeah, throws it in the blue bucket right there.
Caleb Johnson. Again, he's had some lows, but his highs have been very good.
Well, last week it was the Dominique Wilkins into the bucket. That was a more fatigued dunk, I think is what that was. That was more old school, just Daryl Dawkins, right. Let me get it in there.
Oh, you did a little Chocolate Thunder reference for us there. I appreciate that, Jimmy. Trevis Gibson, good pursuit off the backside of Webb. And then Johnson. Well, Johnson on the spot with the slam.
Yeah, won the hurdle.
yeah, that's a lot of sports right there. You got the hurdle and the dunk and the fumble recovery all in one.
Good hustle, good hustle. Nice job by Gibson, Trevis Gibson. He's continuing to play hard. Had a couple of good pressures here in the fourth quarter. Finally hit home.
So we get to see more of this Bears offense and more of Justin Fields. A collapsing pocket, and he's going to go down.
And that was on all fronts. Yes, they were really trying to go downtown. Had no time to throw the football.
So Brandon Bryant is there. Now I'm also kind of sitting back and wondering how much more do you throw Justin Fields out there?
Yeah, there's a case to be made for running out the clock and things of that nature. But every rep's important.
Every rep is good, yeah.
Every rep is important. He needs to see it. He needs to feel it.
And he also, I mean, I understand what the plan is. Dalton's the starter. But they also haven't coddled Fields as well. It seems like they've actually tested him a lot in terms of a coaching staff trying to get him up to speed. And they're like, you got to, it's like Bill Lazor said, it's your job to catch up and advance with the rest of the crew.
I really do. Just talking to the coaches last week when they went against Miami, they threw the kitchen sink at this kid blitz-wise. That's Brian Flores and all the blitzes that they can dial up. And that's what, because the coaching staff needs to see that. They need to see where he's at. We saw him miss blitz today. Those things are going to let you know when he's ready to come off the bench and play.
Fields behind his intended target, Jesper Horsted, who had a shot at it but couldn't hold on. Fourth down for the Bears offense. 2-minute warning in Chicago. 41-15, Buffalo leads. We'll wrap things up on the other side. Two-minute warning here in the fourth quarter. Fourth down coming up for the Bears offense, but they'll stay out there, run a play, and get another repetition for Justin Fields, who's thrown for 80 yards today, 9 of 18 completions. But the rushing attempts, he's had a 16-yarder, a 12-yarder, an 11-yarder, 46 on the ground for Fields today. He's absorbed some contact today. We didn't see as much contact on him last week, so he's had a chance to acclimate himself as well today. Four-man rush. Fields surveying, looking deep. Now we'll have to check it down, and it's incomplete. Trying to find Marable. Good coverage by Andre Smith. He had Daz Newsome downfield. It felt like for a moment, but could not connect with him.
It would have been tough. I mean, he's made some great throws, throwing to his right. That would have been a difficult hole to throw it. I saw him deep on the over-out, saw what you saw, but it came out kind of a scramble drill situation right there for Fields.
Davis Webb back out there after the Bills turned it over on their last possession. Bills will have the Packers next week to close out their preseason after beating the Lions last week, so they'll be 2-0. Bills will open up against the Pittsburgh Steelers week 1, then go to Miami for week 2 on the road. They're going to have a lot of national TV exposure. Big games against Kansas City on Sunday night. They'll be at Tennessee before the bye. They play at Tampa Bay against the reigning Super Bowl champions in December on a Sunday night in week 14. Sean McDermott got a lot of praise, and rightfully so, last year. Did a lot of special things for the Bills this season again.
They've kind of earned those primetime games.
Agreed,
Plus,
absolutely.
Bills Mafia, obviously, they get a great following there, and I think fans, they want to see good football. And who knows, maybe how this team's rolling, they may be slotted where they're basically moved into some primetime games with the slated schedule and how they're able to move games.
Bills are top 5 in terms of odds to win the Super Bowl this year, so there's a lot of hype, and rightfully so, around this Bills unit. One more knee will do it. Bears will be back at it. Speaking of Tennessee, Bears, of course, had a game on the road in Nashville last year, and Justin Fields and the rest of the crew will have the Titans to close out their preseason slate next week, and this, again, a shortened preseason slate, 3 games.
And there's another team, Tennessee. They feel that they're in the mix on the AFC side. They've increased their pass rush. Bud Dupree, who they signed to give him a big contract, and you mentioned Julio Jones. That's a nice group of weapons for Ryan Tannehill to throw to.
Absolutely.
A.J. Brown has been phenomenal since he's in the league.
Yep. Nice showing by Buffalo today. Bears a little up and down, to say the least, but give me something to work on for next week. Give me something you like, Jimmy, before we get out of here.
Well, I think they got to get their offense going. They got to get more continuity from that standpoint. Got to be better on third downs. Again, so 2 weeks in a row, they haven't been able to log plays offensively. It's been the scrambles of Justin Fields. So ground game, move the chains on third down.
Really cool stuff right there. Justin Fields and Josh Allen introducing themselves. Some mutual respect shown for some young stars, established and budding. The veteran there, Andy Dalton, with some good moments as well. For Jim and Lou and the great women and men of our crew, Adam Amin Singh, we'll talk to you next Saturday night from Nashville. It'll be Bears and Titans to close out the preseason. Enjoy your Saturday.